Content over everything.
Who were pygmy people.
Yeah, look, see when the white men came,
Yeah.
then what you need to understand, the name Somali,
Okay.
the nation, Somalia as a nation is an invention, it just came recently. But Somalia as people, the word Somali is a tribe name. You understand? It comes from the root word of Somali. And Somali is one of the ancestors of Somali people. Somalis have two ancestors, Sab and Somali. And they speak two dialects, Mai and Mahatri. It's like New Zealand English, American English, British English, basically. Like, or slang words, and have different slang words, right? Now, same thing with the Somalis. Now, and then you've got other Somalis, like Arab Somalis, who came to, they came to Somalia around this 14th century when Somalia had sultanates through trade.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? Also, they've got little Indians that mixed up with them, blah, blah, blah. They have their own community, right? And in Somalia, if you're not part of a tribe, you have to create one for yourself, a confederation tribe. So they have their own confederation. And then you have the Jaredwane. Right? The Jaredwane are a very massive tribe, and they have done a lot to contribute to the country and to to Somalia. However, and some people might be a bit sad about what I'm about to say, but that's the truth and it's history. The truth about this is like the Jaredwane people, some of them, right, came there as businessmen and traders around the 14th century, 18th century. And some of them came there as slaves, and some of them just came there as farmers working in the farms.
Oh, some of them came there slaves?
Yeah.
What did they look like?
What do you mean? They
were they Kushites or were they Bantus?
No, I'm talking about Bantu. When I say Jaredwane, I'm talking about Bantu.
So that tribe was the Bantu tribe?
Yeah, the Jaredwane is the Bantu
tribe. I see, okay.
Yeah. So some of them came there as traders, and because earlier you said people that look like him, so I'm talking about people like
okay,
like
I see.
So they came there as, some of them were traders.
Yes.
They go back in a long time, they settled there. Some of them were, farmers, and some of them were slaves.
Okay.
You understand? So, but the thing with slavery in Somalia is that, let's say if someone is a slave, and he's a Muslim and all of that, and he's very well, you can free him, give him a land, give him a wife, give him whatever he wants.
Wait a minute. Muslims can't have Muslims as slaves.
Yeah, but if he's a Muslim, you let him go free.
But you can't take him as a slave in the first place if he's a Muslim.
No, he wasn't a Muslim to begin with.
Okay, I see.
Because we had to go to Zanzibar and them places and Sofala to
all right, so what you're saying is when they were used as slaves, they were not Muslims, but then when they converted to Islam, they became Muslims and then they were separate.
Yeah, to the extent that they became tribal leaders. In some communities, they started their own community. And the thing about Somalis, let me tell you something about Somalis, if you go to Somalia and you are very active, right, and you're doing something that's similar to what they like, that's it, you are going to be respected. That's just the way we are, So and also Somalia is the only African country, or we're the only African clan or tribe that has a country. Because if you go to Ethiopia, you've got 82 tribes, right? One of the tribes is Somali. You go to Kenya, because you've got a lot of clans or tribes, one of them is Somali. You come to Somalia, there's only Somali. However, within the Somali world, you've got, within the clans, you've got sub-clans. Within the big tribe, this is the tribe, umbrella, then sub-clans.
So one tribe called Somali, and then within Somali, you've got different clans.
Yeah, so all these clans come back to the same ancestor.
I've heard that before.
So basically, we are cousins.
Cousins.
Do you get what I mean?
And that includes, what was the name of the Bantus? You said Ware. The Bantu tribe. You said when some came as traders, farmers, slaves. You said their name.
Basically,
I couldn't pronounce Wared.
Some of them are called Jaredwane at the moment.
Jaredwane.
That's their tribe name, or their confederation name, Jaredwane. And then within that confederation tribe, you've got many sub-clans that come under. But they are very respectful and very respected. And they actually do major things in the country.
Do you think
these are the only people, and the reason why I respect them is that when Somalia was collapsing and we were all killing each other for the sake of political instability and tribal war, these people had nothing to do with it. They were like, they just watched it. They were like, you know what, we don't want to get involved in this. We're going to do our own thing. You guys, kill yourselves if you want to do, or you're just going to focus on our farms. And it does hurt me some way because it kind of affected them somehow as well, So they had to flee the country and go to Kenya and then places. So
in regards to, thanks for that. That was a lot of info on Somalis, which I find appreciated.
I just looked over and came back.
What I was going to ask was in regards to what's his name, Sheikh. What he was saying about when he said that the Berbers are African. And then I was asking him, are the Boers African? And he said no, because they came as colonizers and they distanced themselves from the black people. That's what he was saying. But with the Indians in Tanzania and Kenya, he said he accepted the ones in Natal and Durban. as Africans, but the ones in the East, he said they were involved in the slave trade. That was in the Indian Ocean slave trade. He said their ancestors.
Who was involved in slave trade?
He said the Indians, when I asked him about the Indians in Tanzania, Kenya, he said that...
Indians, let me tell you something about Indians. Indians never enslaved anybody.
That's what he was claiming.
If anything, I don't know about what the Sheikh said, I wasn't listening to that point.
He said that there was, they invested or they financially had financial interests.
Maybe in the later years.
Like the
because
Jews
at the end of the day, what you need to understand is that India itself was under slavery. Right? India itself was under slavery.
Yeah,
also, if we're going to go back in history, around, what's it called, during the Vedas, is it the Vedas?
Vedas?
Is it, no, not...
What, the Indus Valley?
No, I'm talking about, there's a religious movement, I don't know if it's the Vedas era, no, I think it's the Vedas era, I forgot the name.
Vedas in the Vedas era?
Yeah, I think
that's like...
Yeah.
Because the main reason I was asking...
The reason why I'm asking, what I'm saying is, because when this religion started, and the main creed of the religion was to not pass the Indian Ocean.
Okay.
Because if you pass the black waters of the Indian Ocean, you'll be cursed.
Okay.
So that's what the people of the Vedas believed in. So if their religion tells them if you cross the ocean, you're cursed, why would you cross it?
But they were taken to
But then
Africa
when people came, for example, when Portugal got there, they were taking them, left, right, centre.
Yeah, they were taken. I thought it was taken to Africa against the will.
No, some of them were taken to Africa
Against the
as an army.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them were armies.
Because
For example, Sudan. Yeah. Right? Even though they defeated the colonialists, at the end of the day, they were a bunch of Indians. In Somalia, when they came to Somalia, even though they had a lot of Indians, it took them over 30 years to get hold of one city, the British, and then they were like, fuck this, we're gonna call France. So we were the only African country that were colonized by 3 different countries, so 3 superpowers. None of them could do nothing to it.
I wanted to get back to this thing where we were talking about migration and when someone becomes an African and the way you feel about Berbers. Okay. You know that there are some Berbers who are like blonde-haired, blue-eyed, got red hair, and we can go back to their ancestors, the Visigoths, or is it the Vandals? One of the ones that had a colony in North Africa. And then you had the Romans, the Macedonians invading, settling, then you had the Barbary pirates.
Settling in Africa?
No, the Barbary pirates, much later on, they were bringing Europeans, British people. Barbary pirates were based within...
from the Barbary coast and the 3 Barbary, well, not kingdoms, but you talk about Morocco, which was the independent one. You're talking about Tunisia and I think Libya, what was Libya before. But they were supposed to be... what's the word? They were supposed to be controlled by
Rome?
Ottoman Empire.
The Ottoman Empire. Okay.
Morocco was the only one that was independent, but there were 3 Berber kingdoms of the Barbary wars, the Barbary slavery that actually controlled Europe.
Yeah. And they were bringing in lots of Europeans. No, but what I'm saying is they were bringing in Europeans as slaves to be sold, and they used them there. So this contributes to why certain Berbers are really light-skinned and white. So I'm trying to find out to you, when do you start viewing someone as an African? When do you? How long do they have to be there, their ancestry?
Okay, the thing is this, Berbers divide into like 3 color shades, if I could say, or 4 or 5, right? Dark skin, right? They're so dark, like dark skin, but their hair texture, their facial features still there, right? Some of them are brown, so, everything is still there. Then you got light skin or white, and then you got like blonde, white. That's what you're talking about.
So that's more of a spectrum. That's just like a spectrum.
But you have to watch. It's like a thermometer, right? Okay. When you go southern North Africa, people get darker.
Okay.
The northern you get to Europe, people get lighter. They get lighter. And that explains the Moors, right? The Moor era. When the Moors were, invading Spain and them areas, and all what's it called, Eastern and Southern Europe was under the Berbers and Islamic
it was for a period.
You understand? So that was an influence. So basically, if I'm a Somali and I went to America, I took a white wife, or here in the UK, I took a white wife.
Okay.
I went to Somalia. She had kids now, and then my kids marry other people.
Okay.
And then you got light-skinned Somalis with blonde eyes, blue eyes. I am the father. They count to my tribe.
Okay, I see.
Let's say I am. That's not my tribe, by the way. But let's say I am Isaac, right? If I am Isaac, they'll count to my tribe. Isaac, they'll be Isaac. They'll be part
through
of
the
Isaac.
father.
Yeah. So they're still African. You can't deny that, right? However, if the mother is because in Africa we count through the father. If the mother marries a white man, and she brings them back to Africa.
Yeah.
We cannot say they're African.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so if the okay, so if the father is black and marries a white woman and brings her back because through the father,
comes back too.
yeah, through the father. But if it's the other way around, they're not African.
Yeah,
They could
they have a 50% claim to the country.
Wow, so that's how you
That's
do it.
according to tradition, right?
Yeah.
Now that this is Somali, right? Now that Somali is becoming, or I'm assuming it's becoming more in accordance with science now.
Or what?
In accordance with science now.
Okay.
Right? Is it?
I don't know what that means though. Right?
In terms of now that we have, all right, we have DNA, we have all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
We have tests that we can do.
Yeah.
So is Somalia becoming in more accordance with that information?
Somalis are the most
Physics and
ethnical,
chemistry.
homogeneous people in Africa.
No, but are they? Do
Like
they study?
they come from two. Like we've done it. Actually, there was several tests that was done, and Somali people come.
No, that's
in-
not what I meant.
What?
I didn't mean who the Somalians are themselves.
Yeah.
What I meant was, do they deal with science and technology? You have universities in
Yeah,
Somalia,
yeah, of course,
right?
yeah, we do.
Right,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm trying to say is, traditionally they thought of this patrilineal, you are this line of whatever, but now, do they come in accordance and say, well, we are both our mother and father?
No.
That was my question.
The thing is this, yeah, this tribal thing is really important. It's political, it's cultural, and it's religious at the same time. You understand? So the reason why, okay, that's why, innit? So you can't get rid of it because throughout time, through this law that we had, we were untouchable. You understand? For example, look, I'll give you a very simple example. There was a man who the British called the Mad Mullah, but we call him Sid Abdullah Hassan. He's actually an icon. What's it called? A very well-respected guy. So when the British colonizers came, they were the first to come to Somalia before the Italians and French. They came and they tried to conquer or take over part of Somalia. So, but they came as friendly. So when the Sayyid came back from the Hajj, he saw little kids. I don't know if this is true, but some people say this. He saw little kids wearing the Christian cross. And that is when he lost it. Before he was alright with it, like this guy just like, maybe they were teaching people, I don't know. But when he saw that, guess what he did? So that's why Somalia is known as the land of poets. The nation of poets. Yeah, the nation of poets. That's where poets come from, basically. Because that's another topic. But, so he just recited one poem. One poem shook the whole of the Somali regions. From south to north to west, everywhere. The British were like, where the hell are these people coming from? Because they thought they were only in northern Somalia now. They thought, fuck, what are we gonna do now? Right, one poem. And guess what was in that poem? He named all the tribes. It's like, he started talking about their ancestors and how brave they were. Yeah. Who are you to coward now and sit back and watch your people getting turned into, being turned into Christians and so what, you know what I mean? Okay. So, to the extent, the British and the Italians tried they even built a church. Not even one Somali went in that church until today. It's just, you know what I mean? They tried
But you get what,
to turn us.
with the thing, you could marry a Somali woman of, I don't know, Darude or Isaac or whatever. You could marry her, have kids, and your generation could stay in Somalia for 50, 60, 70 years.
Yep.
Your descendants wouldn't be regarded as Somali though, because your bloodline and your
mine's from
tribe.
outside.
Yeah.
You'd be
And
lucky.
that- and that's why
Look, it doesn't matter whether you're white or black. Let's say
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a white man and he started his own people there. If he's a small tribe, he's inferior to everyone.
Okay.
If it's a what, sorry?
If he's
Small
a small
tribe.
tribe, he's inferior to
So if you're a
everyone.
big tribe, then
Yeah. If you're a big tribe, obviously everybody's gonna be like, step back. You know what I mean? Like these people, everybody would avoid it. They'll try to be, you know what I mean? Nobody wants that business.
Because I don't know if that could happen in Nigeria. Like you could marry a Nigerian woman. Let's say you marry a Yoruba woman or Hausa, and you could then settle in Nigeria. And then 50 years down the line, I'll be interested to know, would your descendants be then seen as Hausa? Because you would live up in Sokoto and you'd be married to this Hausa woman. Or would they still say no because your great-great-great-great-grandfather was from the Caribbean, you guys are on...
Yeah, but we're not from the Caribbean, are we? I could have come from Nigeria.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking.
But see, what you don't understand is, in Nigeria, you've got different tribes.
Yeah.
Not clans.
Tribes, yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, this goes back to what you told me.
Between the clan
He
and the
told
tribe.
me, yeah.
Yeah, and Somalia only has one
tribe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, or let's just say two, Sab and Somali. If more.
Yeah. I remember you said that.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why it's so easy to identify what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, because everybody knows. For example, right now, let me tell you this. It's very incredible what Somalis have. I went to Ethiopia. I got robbed on the way.
Wow.
I had no money.
Sorry
I
to
had
hear
nowhere to
that.
sleep. I was just walking. I went to this restaurant, and I spoke to Somalis. They were like, "Okay, what's going on? The first question they asked me, what is your clan?"
Yeah. Okay.
I said, I am that. Okay, they said, give me your 4 names. All you need to know is my 4 names. That. I gave them. Oh yeah, I know your great-granddad and my great-granddad are related. Come, let's go. What do you need? Wallahi, I was sleeping in a nice luxury hotel. You know what I mean? They were like, okay, until you get in your help. I had to call friends. Like, they gave me at least 1 week. You know what I mean? And they were paying for everything. So that's the help that it comes with. So it's a really commune thing, you know?
Yeah. If you're on the right side, if you're on the wrong side,
What do you mean?
I'm assuming that's because you were related to and you were the right tribe. If you'd have said the wrong, you'd have said the wrong.
Basically.
Because remember, I used him as an example. If he'd married a Somali woman who from the clan of Isaac, and 60 years down the line, his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson was the one who walked into that place, and they asked him, "What is your name?" And he gave them a name which did not have a tribal name.
Yeah, but the fact that a Somali girl married outside her culture, or Isaki, whoever she is, she will be, even me as a guy, if I'm married outside the culture, I'm close to, my family might be like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, I might be on the verge of being rejected in the family.
I see, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's a lot of the problem in the world. That stuff is, man.
But I love that shit, man. That's
mixing with people,
that's
man.
good. No, it's not
No, because I'm not going to condemn the Somalis. If you're like, I want to be wait. I want to be sure on this. I'm not condemning the Somalis for thinking like that. If you want to do that and keep your own thing, that's cool. I'm not saying it's bad or anything.
It's not good for relations, though, is it? I don't know. It's just not. You don't see.
What you don't understand is, the word Somali comes from Somalia, and Somali comes with 2 syllables, which is Sama, Ale. So Sama means goodness, Ale is to have someone who has goodness. That was one of the names of our ancestors. And when you look through the Somali people, even historians, when they came to Somalia, people will fight over you so you can be their guest. Look, as a guest, if you come into the country, you get all the love you want. But you know what? Don't get into the culture.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Don't dig into it. You know what I mean? Just keep your hands off. That's what it is.
Sounds like a lot of places.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of places. When you go there, don't be chatting about don't be talking about certain things in history. Don't be talking about your opinions. Keep your mouth shut, and just enjoy and be humble.
You can speak about history. You can speak about this. But I'll tell you why. I don't like the mixing thing in Somalia. I don't want people to mix or people to come in my country and start mixing with the Somali people. And the reason why that is because the more people you have mixing with your people, it's like get a glass of water, keep adding water to it. What happens?
It stays the same.
No, you got a glass.
If you add water to water.
No, glass of milk.
Oh, milk.
Keep adding water.
Okay.
As long as the water's pouring down, it dissolves.
But that's human history, though.
But it dissolves. That's human history. Exactly.
Human history is milk, coffee, chocolate, all these things mixing, melting everywhere.
Oh, you know,
like
Somalis
are a creation, a mix of some other people thousands of years before. We're 200 and something thousand years old as a species.
Yeah, but we are
at least.
Cushitic people. Yeah,
that's a modern term.
No, it's not
that didn't exist 100,000 years ago.
I think it did. I'll tell you why.
Really?
I'll tell you why it did. I'll tell you why it did, yeah? You see, Egypt, right, was known as the land of...
Kemet.
Was known as Kemet, right?
That's a modern term.
Yeah, that's a modern term,
No, Kemet's not a modern term. The word Kemet, Met is
no, listen. Just because you know what he's doing.
Asking dates.
Just because you add your Somali accent to it doesn't make it original.
No, it's not Somali. I'm talking about the original term.
Okay.
You see,
you don't know what the term was 100,000 years ago,
I'm telling you. Let me just finish. You see, there was let's just say 1,000 years from now, right? 1,000 years, 2,000 years from now, right?
Yep.
There were Bibles that were written, right, in the Latin version, right? And the name Hamet was spelled as C-H-A-M, right?
Yep.
And that spells Ham.
Yep.
You understand? So the word Ham, right? It's not an English version. However, the word ham or kam, which is the kam, that's an invention. That's something new. Okay. But the word ham, which comes from ham, It's the same thing because Ham was named, for example, look, you've got the Ottoman Empire. Why was a whole empire called Ottoman? Because there was a family by the name of Ottomans ruling the empire.
No, it was a guy called Usman.
Yeah, Osman, but that's what they call
Uthman.
Ottoman.
Same thing.
It's the same.
Basically,
Osman,
people
example,
change.
Yeah, see the way I'm saying it?
Yeah.
Osman.
Usman,
That's
yeah.
how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah.
But then you have English people saying Ottoman.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But Usman is the king, so the whole empire was named after him. Same thing with Ham, or Ham, the land of Hamites.
Sounds like you're making
Or-
my point for me though.
Yeah, the land of, what was I saying? The land of Hamites. The reason why they were called the land of Hamites or Hamites is because the people that lived there were the people of Ham.
Oh, man,
I can deal with that. But you're still making my point for
Yeah,
me.
I'll come back to your point. I don't know what that is, but I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it, yeah? Now, Ham, sorry. Within that, what's it called?
The Ottomans in
No,
or
no,
the change?
within that lineage,
Yeah.
then you had, the Hush. And the word Hoha with the Ha. Hush means, what was it? Is it good? Something to do with, I think it was a warrior fighter, something, I don't know. But it had a meaning. I do apologize to the people. I don't like speaking about something I don't know. But Hush, right? That's where it comes from. It's not Kush, it's not Kushetic,
Yeah.
it's Hush.
That's
With
what
Ha.
the original
Exactly,
thing.
exactly.
All right, I like that.
You know what I mean? So, I lost my train of
And then it
thought.
changed to Kush. I think you're talking about. Well, my point is,
Yeah.
how do you know? My point is, everybody has to homogeny can't exist. Can only go on for so long. It's like the children. It's like the Garden of Eden type situation. They had to go outside to marry other people. Otherwise, it's incestual, and it becomes a problem. Some people even say.
What do you? Okay, it depends what your definition of ancestral is.
Incest is where my understanding is that you need to widen the gene pool in order for survival to be able to take place.
No. Do you think, for me, incest is laying with
Incest
your own
in this culture is laying with your brother or your sister or something. Or
or your cousin?
some people say because that's a big thing in Pakistan,
Yeah,
though,
but
isn't
the thing with Somali culture or the Kushitic culture, African culture, cousin with cousin, it's okay.
It's
even
fine, yeah.
Arabs, even Indians, right? It's our culture.
fine.
I'm not what's it called, ashamed of it. You know what I mean? So basically,
But we're talking genetics now,
now,
over.
now let's speak about genetics. You see, Somalia, right? The Somali people carry two genetic codes. I said this earlier. The T1,
here
the
we
T1.
go.
One sec.
And the
The
E1,
T1,
B1,
right? The
right.
T1 is actually the progenitor of. When you go to India, you will find it. When you go to Arabia, you will find it.
Okay.
But when you come to Somalia, that's where the darkest is. That's where it came from. As the further you go from Somalia, the lighter it gets, right? And then you've got also in Mesopotamia, the T1 came from Mesopotamia.
So what you on about Iraq there and
Yeah,
Syria
yeah.
and places,
Originally, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then you've got the E3B, the one that he's laughing about. Yeah, that's a famous one. Everyone knows in the park, right? E3B, like Somalis carry 99% to 95. Some people say 80, but I think it's 95% of the. The reason why it's 80 because there are Somali Arabs and Bantus Somalis that live there. But 80% of the ethnic Somalis carry the E3B.
And the point being,
And the point being, because they carry the same paternal lineage, it shows how strictly homogeneous this ethnic group is.
no, I'm agreeing with you. Let me ask you a question.
So basically, the idea of we've mixed or people are mixing,
Yeah, I'm
it
not
does
denying
it does not apply much to the Somali people.
you have to have mixed no matter what.
Because
no matter what
also,
you say, you've mixed.
also the people that carry the same genetics as us are the Berbers. And the Berbers, you're saying they're not
Okay.
Africans.
Okay.
They carry about 70%.
The blonde ones with the blue eyes.
What the blonde-haired, blue-eyed ones?
Whether they're blonde, when you go to, for example, Morocco, they're
Yeah.
about 40% of E3B.
Wait. So you're saying, I ain't part of your bloodline because I'm Bantu, but some blonde-haired, red-haired, blue-eyed Berber is part of your
Sound
blood.
he rizzle like that. It sounds like he rizzle like that. Well, all I want to ask was, what's the problem? What's the problem? That's a bomb. But what's the problem with mixing?
What's the problem with
Yeah,
mixing?
is it just like a traditional
Because-
thing?
no,
You don't like
no,
doing
the
it, or
traditional
is there
thing-
actually a problem with it?
Now, the problem with it is you lose culture, you lose tradition, you lose your history, you lose who you are.
So if you stick and if cultures come in and they assimilate properly and keep with the culture, are you fine with that? Even though it's a different genetic gene pool.
Look, listen to
But
this.
to keep the genes,
No,
or is
no.
it a racial
It's still, let's just say they're still claiming Somali, right? They're saying they're Somali. They're saying all of that. They have everything. They got everything, right? However, the people, because let's say these people grew, they became huge, now big. All of a sudden, they're overpowered now. They're in power now, for example. And now what you have is a group of people who are not originally Somali, but they're saying they're Somali, but they've got nothing to do with Somali. So at this time, the name Somali becomes a nation. It does not become an ethnic.
Okay, ethnicity, yeah?
Yeah, because you lose ethnicity.
So you're saying is a problem, even though these people will be culturally Somali.
Yeah, but
they won't be genetically. It seems like it's boiling down to genetics, not really the culture. It's like what he was talking about. He wanted to do light-skinned girls because they talk better Arabic, but the logic didn't make any sense. Your logic don't seem to make any sense now. Because your answer was you want them to be culturally Somali.
No. Culturally, genetically, ethnically.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. So okay. So what's the problem with them not being that way?
What's the problem? There's no problem with it. But as a Somali, I'm not talking about I'm not speaking
just your opinion.
Somali, just your opinion, isn't it? Yeah. But as a Somali, I think that if we stick to who we are and keep this culture and this what's it called, this homogeneous, then later on, if we become big, let's say Somalia becomes great, then people will be like the Somalis. And when people say the Somalis, they're not talking about a nation only. They're talking about an ethnic. They're talking about the only ethnic people in Africa. One ethnicity took over the whole world. Like, come on, man.
What's that word? What's that?
No, that sounds like some grandmaster.
Just to put it,
like a James Bond movie.
I want to put a disclaimer because just in case people get offended, because we've been using the word Berber, because I know they use another word, Amazighs or Amazighs. Okay, so
or Torek.
Yeah, just so people don't get offended.
Berber is like saying, for example, you got Somali, right? And then within Somali, you've got Darod and Isaq and Hawiye. So the same thing with the Berber. The Berber is their ethnic name. And then you got Amazighs on that, then you got Toreg on the side, then you got the other guys on the side, you know? So, yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's deep, man. At the end of the day, I'm Somali, right? And I don't want to mix. I want to stay. And this is why people...
I'm just not used to hearing that from people who's dark as me.
Yeah,
No, that's not true. I'm used to, most famously, you're used to hearing it from like white people.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's most famously. But that's not to say that other people don't do that, because Indians do that.
You know the crazy thing? He was in a video COE recorded a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking, being eloquent, giving his opinion. Someone left a comment in there saying, yeah, that Sri Lankan guy saying a lot of good stuff.
No, not only that. The video, when we used to talk about the breed of the gin, guys in that were saying the Sri Lankan guy, the Bangladeshi guy. So when you come out and said that, I thought, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I assumed you were Somali. I don't know why.
I know, exactly.
Maybe because I've seen you in something else.
It's the look.
I might have seen you talking about Somali.
No, I'm telling you this. No, it's not only that. When you see a Somali walking, whether he's dark, white, whatever it is, you would clearly know he's Somali. There's something about
but they didn't.
Who?
The people he's talking about, the people I'm talking about, are the comments.
But you know why though? Because the lights are too light, and I looked a bit yellow as well. I was a bit yellow.
No,
my hair looked too dark.
It's just because some people don't know. They're not educated. They
Some people
know.
don't, yeah.
Some people don't even never heard of Somalia.
True.
Do you know what I'm saying? True. Until maybe Captain Jack or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, it's true, man. Some people really don't know.
Yeah, but when you said no black man, no a person. At the end of the day, because I don't consider myself to be black. I don't know if you've seen one of my videos.
What are you?
I'm not black.
I can go with that as well.
Yeah, I'm not.
Don't tell me. Black is a
You're
state.
black. You're
No,
black.
but we're
I'm not.
What are you? Wait,
Whoa.
I
I was going to say we're all not black, or we all are black.
Yeah, no, we're not. Okay, I'm black.
What do you mean by black?
Wait. I'm black if you're including every human being who has dark skin.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Yeah, I'm black too. But I'm not
How
black.
are you not black?
I'm not black if you're saying, like, only including to the people known as black in the media.
No, but that's known as that's
you know what I mean?
That's colloquialisms though. It don't make no sense. Because I know what you're saying. Jamaicans, Americans.
Yeah, Bantus.
Yeah, that kind of certain Africans. Yeah. Because you're saying there's certain Africans who, like yourself, who not consider yourself as black.
I'm not black. I'm Cushitic. Because if we're talking about race.
Political.
If we're talking about race as
Black's
black.
not a race though.
I know,
No,
but that's how they like to make it appear. So if you're speaking about black as a race, I'm not part of your race. I'm a Cushitic. I'm part of the Cushitic race because I have a bunch of people who look exactly like me, out there who are like millions of them. Not I'm saying out there.
So just like the show of South Africa.
And that's the definition of being race. The definition of a race is, you know, being part of a group of massive people who look like each other.
You would have been all right in 1950s America.
Come on.
with the non-race mixing kind of thing. It's a similar kind of thing though, but I'm assuming you wouldn't kill for that shit like they did. What do you mean? Well, they had policies out there. Oh, they had segregation laws, and then they made it illegal from 1680, I think it was. The so-called ethnicities weren't supposed to mix.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Some people are extreme about it.
Yeah, some people are extreme. As long as, listen, you're like you said, you're all right with him saying those kind of things. As long as you don't kill people for that shit. As long as when you see a Somali girl with a white dude or something, and you're not picking up and trying to beat him up.
Wait.
He's gonna say something.
Nah, you're touching the point. I'm joking.
No, I know.
But the thing is this though, if I see a Somali, whether he's a guy or a girl, I mean that's their life, isn't it? Yeah. But as a Somali, I don't somehow I just don't feel right about it. I'm like fuck this shit.
About mixing.
Yeah, I just don't like to if they're dating and that's like and the end game is not to get married. I'm all right with it, you know.
So
if you saw me or him with a Somali, we had Somali partners.
Women are beautiful.
I'm gonna catch you guys in the alleyway.
The women that speak in Ethiopia, Djibouti, Somalia, the women are beautiful, man. Yeah. And I still see it as like when I'm marrying African, it's African marrying African. Yeah. So I'm happy with that.
The term with African, I'm all right with it. I literally speak about African. I would say he's my African.
I'm seeing you the same. I don't like. We're not the same.
We're not the same. Yeah,
we're not the same. I agree with that. Yeah. But I'm seeing it as I'm still marrying my people, even though I get where you come from. It's not
my people.
This is the interesting thing.
What's that? My people.
Well, coming from my experience in the West, my people. So I'm told. So I've been raised to think is other people that look like me. Over Africans.
How about this?
That's where we're taught.
How about this? Because even.
I just listened to this.
What's that?
I thought you literally killed a bear or something. You know? But what's it called in the Western world, right? For example, when you look at you've got Eastern Europeans, Southern Europeans, but you won't hear the British people saying those are my people.
They won't.
Why not? Why not? I mean, they got light skin, they're Caucasians, they're everything, blue eyed, but they won't say those are
technically, they probably would.
No, actually, they are a minority in the UK.
Yeah.
They're a minority.
They're not the same.
They're not, and I agree they're not the same. But I don't think the English.
But you can't say them.
Got the way.
Sorry, who are they and we or what?
What we're trying to say, I'm trying to say that. Well, let's start with what he's trying to say.
No, who are they? We are all human beings.
Oh, see, this is what I was trying to. You're going even further now.
Yeah, I walk in the same ground and I breathe same air. I wish you good luck and have a great night and be safe, gents.
You know what?
Don't complain about nothing because life can
It's true. You know what? He's reminding me of a great question.
No, he doesn't count. You know, he doesn't count. You know why he doesn't count?
Because he's in an interracial relationship. But let me ask. Hold on. Let me ask this. Yeah, you clocked that from day one. Listen, let me ask you a great question then. Yeah. I think this is a great question.
Yeah.
Who's more different? You and a Polish man, or you, a Somali man and a Somali woman?
Who's more different?
What kind of question? I mean exactly what I just said.
Who's
more different?
Me and
you and a man of a different race.
Okay.
Or you and a woman of the same race.
Who's more different?
Yeah. That's the question. I think it's an excellent question.
Well, the white man is more different.
Yeah.
The white man is more different. Even though you have the same body parts.
What do you mean body parts?
You both have the same genitals, penis.
No, but you didn't listen to what he said 15 minutes ago when he began to talk about the E3B. Yeah. So there's the genetic code.
That's fine, but there's also a genetic code that gives us the same body parts.
Yeah, but not
and the same levels of testosterone. It's just a philosophical question. It's not based on anything we said. It's just actually based on what he's just brought in, which is we're all human beings.
Yeah.
Right? We're all Homo sapiens sapiens, which he's a valid point.
Yeah, it is.
He's absolutely right. Yes. Right? You don't deny that, do you? Even though you're saying Somalis are different, we're all still Homo sapiens sapiens.
But we're not the same tribe, we're not the same culture, we're not the same genetics.
But are these things man-made? I mean, we have different variants.
No, what he said is that my people. Now let me use your analogy.
Which one?
About
Yeah,
exactly.
That question.
Yeah, that same question.
Well, answer it first. Oh no, you did.
Yeah.
You says you and the woman are
close.
more the same,
they're the same.
than you and another guy.
And the other guy.
Even though your body parts are more.
Yeah.
Forget about the body part, about genetics and race.
No, I'm talking about everything. Your genes determine what sex you are as well,
Yeah,
right?
but we're talking about. Tell him what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it. But I'm also listening from what he was talking when he was very specific in giving us the genetic code, the bloodline, the E3 thing, and then he spoke about the tribe, which ties in with the culture. So it's all well and good saying that he is the same as a white guy in Russia. They've got the same arms, hands, and everything, but they're not the same blood and they ain't the same.
Agreed.
For example,
Agreed. It's just a philosophical question.
but
for
That's what it is.
Right.
It's like a chicken and the egg kind of thing, even though there's an answer. In fact, there's more of an answer to the chicken and egg than I think that. I don't even know what the answer is.
What's the answer to the chicken and the egg?
It's the chicken. So hold on. Yeah, it's the. Hold on.
But a cell, how does a cell
Hold
get
on,
formed?
no.
How does a cell get formed?
It's the. Which came first?
Yeah.
It's the.
Yeah, that's,
No, wait.
Hold
no,
on, because I've already answered this question.
No,
It's
no,
the.
answer. Oh, let me tell you the answer. It's a different way though. I can answer my
there's a different way.
It's the chicken.
I think because before the kitchen came,
The kitchen.
before I always,
Before the kitchen, it was the cooker. No, the chicken came first because it's the first of its species.
Yeah.
So then that species, once if you're a particular species and you give birth to something, that is the first thing. Well, that would make it the end.
but where did the kitchen?
Where did the kitchen?
Where did the chicken come from?
Where did the chicken come from?
Yeah. The first chicken, where did it come from?
Well, it's a mutation. It's all about mutation.
Yeah, but what did it mutate from? What did
Huh?
the first mutation
It
of the
mutated
chicken?
from a different species, technically.
But the first
From a different
chicken,
species.
The first chicken, when it was first starting to mutate, what did he start from?
Well,
the
there is no-
beginning,
well-
the point, the start.
Technically, it's supposed to be a mutation. If you have a genetic mutation, like if I have a white child, then that child is different to me. Therefore, where did that's like saying where did the albino come from? Which came first, the albino child or the parent?
No, it's not the same.
It's the same thing because you're talking about genetic variation, or you're talking about genetic mutation. The chicken, the very first chicken, would have come from something that they even if you're gonna go by because I think what you're saying is
But let's come back to our
let's
come back to our case.
difficult to answer.
Yeah.
So
that's a very
what
tricky
so you do agree with him that the two people, even though they're from planet Earth, they're Homo sapiens sapien, they're still different.
They have different group, they have different genetic codes.
But the thing
I
is
agree
this,
with that.
what I was trying to tell you is that because you are my African brother, right? As an African, and if I saw that there were people attacking you, right? Let it be my people or someone else, I would be on your side because you're my African brother. But when it comes to as people, as ethnicity, we're not the same people. Because Africa is a massive continent. If the white people who have just little countries, see themselves as different people, separate people, or let's say, or even the Chinese, you got the Mongolians who are massive people. You've got the Chinese who are smaller. You've got the Indians, right? These people live in Asia. However, they come in different shades and colors and different looks. So we can't say the Indian, even though they come from Asia. You can't say the Indian. An Indian cannot say the Chinese are my people because we live in Asia. Do you know what I mean? Because Africa is more bigger than Asia anyways. Right, technically speaking. So now you are my African. We come from the same continent. It's like just like a European will be like, "Oh, you are my European."
Just like, and you would do the same
that
thing.
White dude is your human brother, right?
I don't know when people use this human thing. Like, come on, man. We all human.
Is he your Homo sapien brother?
Well, I don't know. I'm not claiming a white person right now.
Well, then we will.
Brothers under Adam religiously.
That's a great point.
No,
And that's the point I'm making.
But that-
under God, what he's saying under Adam, we all come from Adam.
We all come from Adam.
So-
do you believe in that?
Well, it's not a question to me. But hold on. Yes, but I think Adam's metaphorical for the science. How about that?
You can't say that.
Yes, I
'Cause
can.
Science and Adam,
Yes, I
they
can.
don't come together, man.
Yes, they
No,
do.
you know where you could have
Well,
cut him out. You know where you could cut him out.
Go on.
He doesn't see that white European as his brother, but he sees the white Berber as his brother.
Well, it's just kind of the same thing, really. Isn't
Nah,
it?
I tell you why. I tell you why I see a Berber closer to me than that guy. Because a Berber,
A blonde and blue-eyed Berber.
Listen, a Berber paternally. Wait, I'm talking about. Listen. The majority of the Berbers, paternally, they are African. They got the African genetics.
How do you know it's paternally and not maternal?
Because we're following the E3B again.
So you've done tests on. Okay, no.
Yeah, I've done a
like-
research on the tests that have been done.
And those genes
Across
show
North Africa.
which side of the.
Should I show it to you now? Should I
Yeah, go for it. I'm not even questioning. Well, I am. I'm actually asking because I've never heard it. So you can tell.
So the E3B, it has its origin comes from East Africa.
and it's only from the father's side that it can come.
Huh?
Can it only come from the father's side, or can this E3B come
Nah,
from the maternal side as well?
E3B basically, if it's coming from because the paternal.
No, I'm saying, can it come from the mother as well as the father?
No.
Okay, so I assumed it could. So
Whoa.
that's something I didn't know about.
It can't come from the mother.
I think it can. It can.
Yeah, so there's
It's
see,
25,
right.
sorry,
So now the point is, what the hell are you talking about? Which is,
But
in terms of,
I'll tell you
right?
what I'm talking about. Yeah. You see, when we're doing this, every time we look at the paternal ancestry, we're not looking at the mother's side, because the mother's side always changes. For example, let's say your mother was E3B, right? But then let's just say but then you have your mother's mother, right? Because your mother's mother was a white man, for example, right?
Man's disrespecting me like that, I'm like,
No, sorry. I'm giving you analogies.
shit.
Let's say
So my mother's mother was a white dude.
No, your mother's mother married a white dude. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry. I do apologize.
Right,
Let's say your mother's mother married a white dude.
So my grandma.
Your grandma married a white dude. Yeah, married a white dude. But then she gave birth to your mother.
Yep.
And then your mother, right, had, because we're following the lineage, right?
Yeah.
So basically, your mother married your father.
Black guy, yeah.
Your father.
Yep.
Right? And your father, you had a sister now. With you. Now your sister carries whose genes?
My sister, I would have thought, carries both of them.
It carries both, and then you have, let's just say, the R1, and then you've got the E, because you guys are also under E3B, right?
So don't we both have the genes of our parents?
Yeah, but you do both have, you got R1, and then you've got E3B, right? From the father's side. So the mother's R1, the father's E3B. But genetically speaking, we are counting back to who? The father, paternally.
It depends who you're looking for.
Because if you go back to the mother's side, what I'm trying to tell you, if you look into the mother's side, it keeps changing.
Is that I'm
but
lost.
they stick with the paternal. That's why he's doing the paternal thing.
But can't the guys change as well?
That's
No,
right.
the guy doesn't change.
The guys never changes.
Unless
Can't a guy's parents be mixed? Is I suppose what I'm
okay,
asking.
for example, let's say if you was my father, for example, that means I would always come back to lineage. And whatever all the kids that I give birth to, whatever I marry, no, not me physically, but if I marry, all the kids that I have would come back to our lineage. It goes straight. But
I don't get how the women would go back to your lineage either. I don't get it.
all right, okay. Here's the first thing. Here's a woman, right? She marries a man who's R1. Right. She gives birth to kids. She gives birth to a daughter who's R1. This daughter marries a man who's what? Let's say E3B.
Yeah.
All right. That daughter, right? Let's say she marries a son or a daughter who's E3B, right? That daughter will come back to who? Paternally speaking.
The daughter will have the genes of both the mom and the dad.
She would. But if we're tracing the genes, right? But most of the time,
If you chase it through the dad, then it's going to be whoever the parents of the dad is all the way down the line, and the mom all the way down the line.
Yeah.
So if the dad's got mixed parentage through their generations, then
Yeah.
you're going to see it.
Yeah.
I don't get why the dads would be more pure than the woman.
They're not more pure.
I understand what you're saying.
They're
It's
not
just
more pure. They're not more pure. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say
It
is
seems
that
like it's more of a tradition. Sorry to cut you, but it seems like it's more of a tradition thing, more of a religious thing, to say we
Paternal.
want to go with the father because that's what we think is important. I've heard that argument all day long. But when it comes to this, is why I asked him about science earlier, because when you look at science, not only is it like from an equal perspective, we understand now that genetic material, chromosomes, right, come from the mother and the father. But even further than that, now we know that the mitochondrial DNA only comes from the woman.
But it's easier.
That's the battery power to the cell. So the most important stuff comes from the woman.
I understand. But look, see, what's it called? I might be corrected on this because I'm not 100% sure on this, yeah. But I think, right, according I think, yeah, that the mothers, if we said we're gonna count back to the mother's genetic code,
Yeah.
then because it won't be stationary, I think. For example, because since we're counting back to the father's point of side. But if we said we're gonna count back, let's say, okay, let's try to count back to the mother's side. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
She's R1, right? She marries a man who's E3B.
Don't do the R1 thing. Let's use races or something. It's easier to.
All right.
Yeah.
No. 'Cause we want to understand the genetic, how the genetic changes.
The genetics, you're saying the genetics is based on the race. Aren't they synonymous? So a white dude's gonna have not gonna be. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So you might as well just say white guy,
Okay.
to make it simpler, to simplify it rather than R1 and all this kind of stuff.
No.
Just
Okay.
simplify it.
Okay. Now you've got a black woman
Yeah.
who married a white man,
Right.
and a white man has his own genetic thing,
Yep.
right? And this woman will carry this white man's
Yep.
genes. She marries another man. The woman.
So hold on.
Sorry.
You've got a man and a woman, a black woman and
Marries
a white man.
Yeah. And then she gets
They
kids.
have children.
Let's say she got one daughter. Let's make it a daughter, right?
Okay.
The daughter marries another man.
Wait, hold on. But what's the daughter got? Let's
Because the daughter got the what's it called, the white man's gene.
And she got her mum's genes as well.
Yeah, so do I. Everyone does.
So all right. So the child, whether it's a boy or girl, has got both of the genes. Go on next.
Okay,
that daughter now goes to.
Let's go to the mother's gene right now. Yeah. So the girl, she's got the mother's gene.
And the dad's gene. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the dad's gene. Right. So now that daughter.
Yep.
Who's got the mother? Who goes to another guy who's Indian? That's an Indian.
Indian guy. Yeah.
An Indian guy who carries our Indian gene, right?
Yeah.
So this daughter, who grew up eventually and married an Indian guy, whose gene does he carry?
Whose gene does he carry?
That she carries, sorry.
She carries the one from the white man and the black woman.
Okay.
She's carrying both of them.
Okay.
Now she's gonna now she's gonna mix with this Indian guy. So now their
Now
children.
she had a daughter. Again.
Daughter.
Yeah.
So now
we want to stick to the daughter.
whatever child it is,
Yeah.
that child is now gonna have 50% chromosomes that are black and white,
Okay.
and 50% chromosomes that are Indian. That's my assumption.
Okay. Let's
Yeah,
let's
does that
forget
sound-
no,
that
no,
sound
we can't
reasonable?
we can't use black and white. We can't use color though. We have to use the genetic code.
But it's the same thing
But
because
do you
you're.
understand what I'm trying to say,
Because
though?
the colours or the ethnicities are associated with the genetic codes,
But you
right?
can't say black and white though. That's the thing.
It's just simplifying it for the.
But you see how it's getting though. You can't say she got. You can't. Like, for example.
All right, use your codes then.
Okay.
Use your codes. It's going to come back to the same thing.
No. Okay. Listen. Now let's say the mother of the daughter who married the Indian girl.
Yeah.
Right. She carried the white man's gene.
Okay,
You
so you're
understand?
saying the
Which was
the R1?
R1.
Yeah, R1.
Now this daughter who has the R1, because we're counting back to.
And wait, don't she have a dad as well? She has a dad's B. So we have an R and a B, yeah?
Now, okay, because she was the. Oh, come on, you're getting confused right now.
No, the R and the B. That's why I said don't use this stuff.
No, I'm not.
Now, I'm following it more than you are.
Okay,
So the dad's the R,
And
and
the
the
B.
mom's the B,
B.
and they have a daughter.
A daughter.
And that daughter now has R and B.
R&B.
Yeah, like the music, yeah?
Yeah,
So it has
R&B.
R and B,
Yeah.
and then this R and B girl
Yeah.
gets into Indian music. And so now the chromosomes of their child is 50% Bangra and 50% R&B.
Yeah, wait, let's not get there because let's come back to R&B. Now you've got R and B in one girl.
Yeah.
But now because what we're trying to do is to follow the mother's lineage.
Okay.
So I'm trying to show you how difficult it will be to track whether this culture is homogeneous or not on the mother's side. Right now, so this girl, whatever the R and B, they had a daughter who's both 50-50 R and B, right? But now let's put the dad's side on the one side. Let's try to use the mother's lineage, just the mother's code, right? So this mother, she had a daughter who carries what? Her gene, 50% or 25%, right? She carries 25% of her gene. This daughter marries a what? An Indian guy, and that Indian guy mixed up with both. Whose gene has he got? She's got both the Indian and the mother who's still B. You understand? So basically, it's easy to track the father's point of lineage, because at the end of the day, the girls, if it's a girl, if you're as a man, I cannot keep counting back to my mother. Because if I say, okay, I'm going to come back to my mother, all the lineages on my mother's side, it'll only be females.
That's the whole point.
And if I say I'm going
That's
back...
how you do ancestral DNA tests, right?
Yeah.
I can trace my mum's side and my dad's side.
Yeah, but you only
to
get
where they come from.
You only get 2 roots. So you either come back to your mum's side all the way down.
Yeah, so the question is, why do you choose
right?
one?
And then you ever go to your dad's side all the way down.
Yeah, so why do you choose one? That's the question.
I think it's because I think it's to do with tribalistic stuff.
But the question you need to ask, the question you need to ask is, why do scientists do that?
Why do scientists track both?
No, why do scientists track the paternal lineage?
They don't. They track.
They
well,
do.
I don't know.
I
know that the maternal lineage and the paternal lineage show different. There's certain things that you can see through them. I don't understand what they are at this point in time, so I can't talk about it. And it seems like you might not know either. I don't know if anyone knows.
I think it's just a traditional patriarchal thing to do it.
That's what I'm
paternally.
saying, because science, ultimately, this is one thing I do know, which is, unless you're talking about, look, if your dad, through your dad's side, has stayed the same ethnicity for a while, and the mum hasn't, then I'd understand why you'd go through one and not the other, or why you'd prefer to. But it's the same thing if your dad was messing about, if your dad was interracial, and your mum's lineage was straight Somalian, then it would have been more beneficial to you to go for your mum's. It could have been the guys that were. I don't know. This is my assumption. It's my assumption. I could be wrong, but I just see it as when they do DNA tests, ancestral DNA tests, you can go for your grandparents. You can go for your grandparents. You can go for the female side, your mum's side, or you can go for your dad's side, and they tell you both sides to get to where you are today. So you're the product of both of these haplogroups. They get to haplogroups, which is where the R1 and the B1. That's all haplogroup, right? So you work it out from that. It'd be great if we had the DNA test done there and we could see, and it turns out half is Bantu and and half is blonde, blue-eyed, Neanderthal thing or something.
If I had a DNA test, I'll probably come out 90% Sub-Saharan.
Sri Lankan.
No. 90% Sub-Saharan.
Sub-Saharan. Oh, Sub-Saharan.
90%.
Yeah.
You say 90%.
Yeah.
So you saying you are mixed?
No. Sub-Saharan, we're the same people though. Sudan, Nubia.
Okay.
Berber.
Here's the problem that I think he was alluding to earlier though. Humans apparently all come from one spot, which is basically where you're from, right? East Africa. That means everybody comes from there. So ultimately, all haplogroups.
Not everybody though.
I'm assuming come from.
Not everybody. He said not everybody.
Yeah. So
if that's everybody, then there was because
then we're all Somali.
No, we're not, because at the end of the day, at some point, right, the Horn of Africa was occupied by the Khoisans, right?
If they were the original people, which some say that they were.
They can't. I don't know, because they were hunter-gatherers,
do I.
right? I think they were the last hunter-gatherers. They still are, right? They still are the living hunter-gatherers.
There's a few hunter-gatherers, but their culture's got nothing to do with their haplogroup. Yeah, the haplogroup is the haplogroup.
But you know, the Khoisan people, they have their own genetic code that's different to every African, and they look different. And this is when I say, like Africa is just so big for everybody to assume that.
But they all came from one group. Is the point? Whether it's scientifically, this is why I said it doesn't matter about the Adam thing, because Adam is just a metaphor for the science.
Yeah.
Right. Adam is saying that everyone came from a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She didn't come from no rib. It was a man and a woman. And that's where everybody came from. Yeah. Science is saying the same kind of thing, but it's more of a chicken and egg situation. They would have evolved from a different species.
But you know, earlier when we were talking about the mother thing, the reason why I would say we can't come back to the mother side is because because if you can imagine how many on your paternal side, how many wives from different cultures did your dad marry? Just for example.
Okay.
Right? So, but then your dad is still your dad.
But why would you be concerned about your dad's other wives and their children? That's not you.
Nah,
you just got to go through his dad and his mom.
For example, my dad had me, right? And I married a wife. For example, he married an Arab wife, for example. And then I marry a Nigerian girl, right? You see the difference between the what's it called, the lineage,
Ethnicities.
ethnicities. But however, if you follow the paternal side of me, my dad will still be my dad. You understand? Like
your dad's always going to be your dad, no matter what
but
situation
I'm talking about the lineage. Like it will stay. It will stay as one. Like it's easy to track.
Don't understand what you're saying.
Ah, man.
Don't understand what you're saying. Your dad's always going to be your dad.
Okay.
No matter what ethnicity
Okay. You've got my dad, and then you had me. Because my dad, let's say I was from I don't know, a Nigerian girl. My dad married a Nigerian woman. He had me, right? When he had me, I grew up and I married some girl from Kenya, right?
Yeah.
Now, my kids will come back to who? Me.
Yeah, your DNA will be in your kids.
Yeah.
Along with your Kenyan wife.
But also, what you need to understand is that my kids have a grandmother.
Yeah.
But
And a grandfather.
Yeah, but their grandmother is not the same genes as their mother.
The grandmother has not got the same genes.
As their mother. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So for example,
Yeah, if it's the grandmother on your side,
Yeah.
then it's not the same genes as the mother.
exactly.
Agreed.
And you know what I'm saying? And
What's that got to do with anything?
What's that got to do with each other is that because you've got how can I see? I'm not good at it. English is my third language, so I'm like,
Respect.
I'm not
At
good
least you
with-
can speak 3 languages.
Yeah. So
Because most people they can't.
yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that you've got the mother. So it's harder to track. For example, okay. Now let's say if I was to track, my dad married a Nigerian, I married a Kenyan. Now let's see, from my kids, if we wanted to track the paternal lineage or maternal lineage, which one would be easier to confirm where I come from? Homogeneously, which one would be easier to say that, okay, this person comes from this father and this, for example, if we say they're gonna come
But why
back,
do you keep on saying this father? Because you come from the
Your
woman
mother
as well.
This is
I
my
do.
point.
I do. I come from a mother as well, right? But prior to my mother, right? My mother, right? There was also, you know,
She had a mum and dad as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So
So that's where she will come from, and then they will come from their mums and dads, and they will come from. This is why we're all supposed to be related. at some
how
point.
about I explain this in tribal way? Tribe. That's easier.
Go for it?
If we
I
understand.
thought you already was.
No, tribe. No, it's not tribal. Now I'm gonna make it tribal. So
Really?
you understand
Okay.
easy. All right. Look. Let's just say I am Isaac, right? I am Isaac, and my mom is Marihan, right?
Yeah.
So my mom,
Why are you different tribe to your mum?
it always happens. It's all right. It happens. For example.
Okay.
but
So your mom
in real
went
time,
into a different tribe.
In reality, my mom and my daughter are not the same clan.
So in real life,
In
you and your
real
mum are
life.
different clans.
My
so
mom-
she integrated into your
Dad's
clan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So in real life, my mom and my dad are different clans. So now let's say my mom is I'm Isaac and my mom is Marihan.
Right.
But, right? Now, my mom's mother will not be Marihan either.
Of course not.
My mom's mom will be a different tribe. Different tribe.
Absolutely.
Why?
Because they based it on a patriarchal lineage, so it was biased.
How?
It's because it focused on the guy and not the both of them.
But what
You are basically, technically, even though you can't use genetics for a tribe, because that's a culture, you are basically a product of both tribes. Deny that.
I am.
Right.
It's the
so-
same with me in my country. The tribe I'm a part of.
let me say-
I'm part of two. I'm Yoruba. Both my parents are Yoruba, but from the different clans. My mother's from Ile-Ife. My father is from Abeokuta, Egba. But I am told that I am Egba, my father. But I'm like, but my mom's from Ile-Ife. But they go, no, you follow your father's line. So it's
Right.
more
Tradition.
patriot. Yes.
Yeah, it's tradition. I'm English and Jamaican.
Yeah, but that's not how it works. That's how you
Should I
lose
follow
roots.
my dad's side to say which culture I'm supposed to identify with? Or do I just identify because I want to identify?
Yeah, but okay, now
I think that's
look,
like old school.
You see the thing with this, it's not old school actually.
Old school traditions and
But-
methods, man.
Nah, but-
I think
but-
science has helped us to get
No,
past
no.
these kind of things.
Actually, what's happening to the world right now is like they're trying to get rid of ethnicity because what gives people power and a sense of belonging is ethnicity and culture. If you don't have that, then anybody can come to you and convince you whatever the hell they want. Right?
I don't think they're trying to get rid of it, but,
Just like you know. But come back to the point, yeah. Now the clan name, my clan name, for example, is my great grandfather's name. That's how we say I am Darod, I am Isaac. It comes from a person's name. You
Yeah.
understand? Now, this is the way it's been over history.
And if it was matrilineal, It would have been your great-great-grandmother's, right?
It would have been. It would have been.
So it just so happens that
It
yours
would
is
have been.
patrilineal.
Yeah,
So that's why it went down. So,
But
so we're with you so far.
Yeah, it would have been. But however, that's not the way it is.
What's not the way? You just said it was patrilineal because your culture decided it was that way. Then you just said, well, that's not the way it is. That don't make no sense.
Okay, what's your name?
Bob.
What's your name? Bob who?
Taylor.
Why did not call you Bob Joanne if that's your mother's?
Because in my culture, you take the fathers.
Yeah.
Because of a irrational. Well, I wouldn't say irrational.
Have you ever seen?
I wouldn't say irrational.
Have you ever seen a human? I don't know if they exist, but have you ever seen a human being who says, "My name is a guy or a girl. My name is Abdul Maryam."
Have I ever heard? Have I ever?
Oh yeah, Ibn Maryam.
Son of Miriam.
Oh yeah, son of Maryam, right? Unless he doesn't know who his father is.
Yeah, but that's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
But
That's
the whole
just-
world, the whole world.
Yeah,
has
that's
this
fine. That's
concept
fine.
of-
We're not saying that's
Yeah,
wrong.
we're
We're
saying
just
you're
saying
right.
but it's
We're
from
with
a
you.
cultural
Your
page.
mum's side. You're that, but you're still your mum's side.
Yeah,
I am. But what I'm trying to explain
You're part of
is
your
that
mum,
the
man.
idea of tracing a paternal lineage is much more important, or much not important.
To you.
Not important, but easier because that's the way society has been shaped.
Cool, but you know in
Yeah.
Somalia,
Yes. We're with you. That's your society.
That's
Go
what
on.
I'm trying. No,
Go on.
the whole world.
Well, traditionally, yes.
I can ask
But
this
we-
guy.
but we have
I
now
can ask
science to
anybody.
assist us.
No, but wait, the reason why I'm saying it, look, I can ask any person right now. I can
Yeah.
ask them what their surname is,
Yeah.
and it will be a guy. It won't be a woman.
Based on patriotism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will go.
Oh, wait, he agreed with us. You said yeah. You said yeah.
Yeah, based on patriotism, based on cultural distinction
Yeah.
or cultural preferences.
But what I'm trying to say is that every human is like that, though.
Yeah, that's
We're
cool.
with you.
Yeah, but
Well,
so
not
that's why-
every,
that's
not
why-
every. Some are matrilineal, and I would
Like,
even.
like who? I've never
What
heard of
cultures are matrilineal? Well, I've heard in Tibet it's polyandry as opposed to polygamy. So rather than in
it. I need to
Islam,
read that. Send me that link. I want to know.
in Islam,
Yeah.
they practice and
Not only in Islam,
and
the whole
Judaism, they practice. Majority of the planet, we practice polygamy, which is a man having more than one wife. Polygamy is a man or woman having more than one wife or husband.
Okay.
That's polygamy.
Okay.
We use that term. We don't use polygamy, but that's to be, if you want to be precise, that's what it is. Polyandry is a woman who has more than one husband.
Yeah.
Apparently, I think it's in Tibet, don't quote me on that, women have more than one husband, and it's typically they'll marry the brother. That's probably,
Oh yeah, I heard that.
right, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably a
Nepalese also do
matrilineal
that.
system.
Actually, a Nepalese girl told me that before.
Right,
Yeah.
and I would put another point into that, and I will say, there would have been a time where there was no surnames. We've been around for a minimum of 250,000 years. I'm assuming at some point there was no marriage, no surnames, right?
I wouldn't say
That's
there-
if you don't-
No, I wouldn't say there was a point where there were no surnames. Unless we were talking about the first.
So
human
the
beings.
first, this is what, well,
Unless we're talking
even
about,
the, even the,
unless we're talking about Adam and Eve.
we don't know whether, we can't say whether it came at the 40th human being or the 400th human being. We can't say when surnames came in. We have no idea.
see the Jewish tribe, they link it through the mum.
Yeah, they made. Yeah, you
Yeah,
become a
Link it through the mum.
But the Hebrew Israelites are saying it's the dad. I hear you. So through their text, it's like they're reading both sides. Because the Ashkenazim say it's the mum. Is that right? If your mum's a Jew, you're a Jew. And the Hebrew Israelites are reading in the Bible, see, it's your father. That's right. You get me? So
Yeah,
they
but
say,
all I was trying to say, my whole argument was, let's just keep it short, innit?
Yeah.
My argument was
keep
that,
it short.
Yeah,
Just keep
it's
it
easy.
short. You said keep it short. Go on.
My argument was it's easy to trace the paternal lineage, right, DNA, because of the way society is shaped.
Yeah, you made the argument, but you just didn't back it up with any evidence.
Yeah.
And the evidence I made is because even look right now, like you said, your name is not. I don't want to know your mom's name.
Nelson.
Yeah,
It
but-
actually means son of Nell.
Yeah,
But my dad's name's not Nell.
Yeah, I know.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Because I inherited it off other people and other cultures, maybe. True. So that makes it even worse.
What do you mean?
That messes up your argument even more because what does Nelson say about the patrilineal? I got it off my dad. You're right there. My brother's got his name off his mum, and he's in a patriarchal system. My brothers are brown. We got different. We got same dad, different mums. Yeah. He's Brown. I'm Nelson. So I took my dad's, he took his mum's. I could have took, I've actually changed my name as well by default. I got a couple of names. One of them's my mum's. Yeah, because now it's not a strict culture of 50, 100 years ago in this country. Yeah, it was, you take your dad's name, that's it. No messing about. Woman stays in the house. Everything was very traditional. It was, the Islamic culture and British culture 100 years ago were more synonymous.
And that's all we were saying. The problem was you were then trying to use genetic code to back up what you were saying. And that's when we were like, whoa, because then you were deliberately ignoring the genetic code of the mother.
I think he was trying to validate homogeneity. He was trying to validate people sticking to themselves.
Yeah, which is,
but you can't do that through saying, well, look, because I'll know who my mum and my dad is. That's not a really good argument. You're better off just saying, I prefer people to just be, I like it. I like pure racial purity. That's the best.
Yeah, but
you have to be real.
In layman terms, I understand. I'm not going to go near a Somali girl because you and your brethren will kill me. So I get it. All right, cool. I'll leave them alone.
Hitler said the same thing, right? Hitler said the same thing. Now, a lot of people agree with him. I think he said apparently he called the Jews bastards because they were mixed. And also apparently, don't you think it's interesting that there was no black people in the concentration camps that I'm aware of? He apparently, according to my research, said again, but not to their level, because there was loads of black people in Germany. Yeah, some were even in the army. Yeah, so how come we don't see these black people?
You know what it said though? 20% of the Amazighs Jews. Not what was it called? Is it those other Jews?
Ashkenazi.
Yeah. The Ashkenazi Jews carried the E3B as well. 20% of them. Einstein carried that happening. Einstein.
Oh.
So. It would make sense if you said they were mixed.
Yeah, they were, well, of course they were mixed. Well, look, for them to, well, a lot of Jews, a lot of Ashkenazi Jews, and all Jews have said they came. What was it that Egyptian president said? They left black and came back white. Yeah, that's what my man said. At some point, we've got to acknowledge, because they say Jesus is brown now. If Jesus even existed, they say Jesus is brown. So we know that there was some colour to these people, and then some of the Jews or the Israelites, let's call them Israelites, went into Africa.
Are you saying Jesus didn't exist?
I'm saying I have no evidence to say that a guy named Joshua ben Joseph existed. There's no records.
Okay, do you think Muhammad existed?
Probably more so,
Why?
Although...
Why? Why do you think he
Well, the first evidence, the coin.
What coin?
There's apparently, according to my research,
the Arabs never used coins.
There's a coin with the name Muhammad on it,
well,
and it's a Sassanian coin. It was something to do with basically. Apparently, the first writings with Muhammad's name on was to do with the temple, or was it the Rock of the Dome or something? No. That was the first evidence with his name on, and this coin was supposed to refer not to Muhammad, but to the guy who built the Rock of the Dome, which was not that Muhammad, it was another Muhammad.
That was Umar, isn't it? Umar, I think it was Umar.
There was a different Muhammad, and they're saying that the Muhammad that you talk about today, it could really be that. I don't know, because it's not my thing.
But the question is, because at the end of the day,
now we're moving into the subject.
You don't have. I know. You don't have any. We're gonna come back to the.
Yeah, no problem. I don't mind where we go.
Yeah, if
we're coming back to that one. I thought it was done.
If you feel like
we just said it finished with him and Hitler have the same.
Oh.
That's it. I'm joking. Anyway,
you have to fix that. But the thing is this, yeah, because the only evidence you would have, if you said you think Muhammad exists, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I don't know. You can't say you don't know.
If I don't know something, why can't I say I don't know?
All right, okay. Can I ask you another question? All right. Go for it. Then we're talking about people that exist through text, right? Okay. We don't have pictures of them. We don't know where they exist.
Well, there are pictures of Muhammad. It wasn't even wrong. It wasn't even deemed. Is it haram?
It's haram.
It wasn't deemed haram until a certain point. I've seen pictures of Muhammad.
Imagery is haram from the time the deen began.
Nope. I've seen pictures of Muhammad. I've seen pictures. Google it then. Right? It was apparently, again, according to my
He's talking about
research.
The Turkish
I don't care who it was.
The Turkish and the Persian.
I don't care who it was.
No, that's not.
Let me just say something. There was a certain dude, according to my research, that came. This was after all the. This was after the golden age of Islam, because Islam was like the religion of knowledge. You had all these scholars, right? Same way today you have.
Are you talking about the House of Wisdom in Baghdad?
I don't
The,
know who.
the
I don't know
library
what
where they were
place.
all coming.
No,
Yeah.
there was a guy that came, apparently, and he came and he decided to stop the depictions of Muhammad, and he decided to stop all the ancient wisdom and knowledge and stop listening to these pagans, because the Egyptians, the Islamic scholars were looking back at the Egyptian stuff, like the Quran is supposed to have said, look at the people of the book and check out all these other. So they were doing the right thing. This is why they came out with such science and knowledge. This is why the Moors, when they went into Europe, they passed on so much wealth of information. They passed on the Greco-Roman information, right?
And also something else, those times, those Muslims never destroyed one monument.
Yeah,
Any
I
historical,
agree. They were
whether
so civilized.
Yeah,
Comparatively, obviously there was some people were barbaric, but they were so civilized and people lived in harmony and all that kind of shit. Yeah. So, so what changed from Muslims being the more likely candidate to be Nobel Peace Prize winner to Jews being?
You're getting a different question, because the question was, because I wanted to ask you, people that exist through text.
That's where it evolved.
All right, okay. Now let me give me someone who's famous in history. We're talking about
Genghis
a long
Khan.
time ago, huh?
Yeah.
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan.
Let's go there.
Okay, Genghis Khan. No, it's not that. It's too close.
It's too
Let's go back.
You want to go back further?
Oh.
Further, like
Alexander
BC.
the Great.
How far do you-
Alexander the Great.
Thank you. Let's use
Alexander the Greek.
The Macedonian.
The Greek.
Greek.
Yeah, you're right. Macedonian. I just don't like to use the word great. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
Alexandra,
okay. Sorry.
Alexandra, right, at his time. Now, Alexandra only exists through textbooks now, you know, his history and his works and all of that.
I think he exists though through different, through different sources. So you have, I think the Indians write about him.
Yeah, but
So there's different sources,
yeah,
independent.
But in text though. My point is there's no
Okay.
pictures.
Well, of
There's no
course,
pictures of
there's no photographs, no videos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you believe he existed.
I think it's reasonable. It might not have existed. But
No, honestly speaking,
that's my answer.
entirely
It might
honestly,
not have existed. But based on the evidence that's there, historically, through text, I think it's highly probable. I'm not going to put my money. Do you want my answer? He wants me to say, I know for sure. I don't know whether the guy existed.
The guy-
It could be a hoax. Alexander the Greek could be a hoax. As far as I'm concerned. Listen.
If so many different people write about him, it's more likely that he's not a hoax.
Right. But that's what I just said.
Yeah, but you are denying it. I know, but you're denying
He's
it.
just saying, no. For example, let me give you an example.
You're
I'm
making it-
supposed to be talking to the Irish
But
brother
your
about
answer,
this.
brother, your answer is cloudy. It's not clear. Make it clear.
But that's because the evidence is cloud, or my mind is as cloudy as the evidence. I weren't there. What is it? Alexander the Great the Greek is 2,000 and what? 300 years ago?
Yeah,
right?
something like
That's
that.
way before me, fam.
Before Christ.
So it's too far. I can't say that I know.
Alexander was before Christ.
Yeah, he was.
It was about 300 BC. I think it was just
so,
before.
So you're saying it's most likely that he existed.
Let me give you an example of how something so close, like you wanted to pick 2,000 years ago. I'll go 200. According to texts, the stewards were black. Do you know who the stewards are?
No.
From King James to Blood Clot Queen Anne.
Yeah.
According to texts, these people were black. According to texts, the English people, pixies, fairies, and dwarves and elves. They weren't fairy tales. They were real people living in the British Isles. According to texts and anthropologists and scientists. This is
not
up
common
to
knowledge.
recently.
It's not common knowledge. Let's speak about common knowledge.
Well, common knowledge is subjective. It's based on whatever's put out there.
No, common knowledge is what everybody knows.
Common is what's put out there. So there's a lot of things about Muhammad that aren't common. Or Islam.
He's the most documented man in history.
Yeah.
He's the most documented.
He's one of the
man in
most documented men in history.
No, but I said there's a lot of things about Muhammad. I didn't say he is not, because it's
what do you
one
mean
of the
like
biggest
about
religions. Well, let me take that back about Muhammad. Well, actually, no.
Because we even
Is there
know the
things I
way
could
he
say
ate,
about-
the way he slept, what side he slept on.
No, the way
exactly.
we know what people have told us about these things.
Yeah.
Just like with Alexander the Greek, we know what people have told us about these
But we
things.
knew
Didn't keep a
that-
diary.
We knew that Alexander the Great existed because it wasn't just his people that spoke about it. The same way Jesus, it wasn't only like people from Jerusalem who knew about him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Who else were about him?
the people in the Quran wrote about him. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, it is no, but the people, it is
Yeah, it's a clip onto someone.
the people that wrote about Jesus.
Sorry.
Oh right, okay.
Thank you.
The people
You
that
know what?
the
Later
people.
on, can you make it 2 parts? It's going to be too long.
Yeah, it splits all that stuff up anyway. The people who wrote about Jesus after in the Quran and stuff, they were talking about him. That was Chinese whispered. That was not in his time. In fact, even the people in the Bible wasn't even of Christ's time. If, like I said, we can't even validate Christ's existence yet.
Okay, how a religious person will combat that thought would be to say that he was spoken about in the Old Testament, and then he came, and a New Testament came, speaking about him.
Jesus was written about in the Old Testament.
I think so.
That's before him, though.
But you know, Saint Thomas.
So that, go on.
Because Christians use that as evidence to say that he came, and Muhammad is not the person in the Old Testament that they're talking about.
Yeah, but Christians aren't the most rational people that I've got to say.
No,
for them.
I'm just saying, isn't it?
I'm just answering.
Yeah, no.
Christians will say, no disrespect, but Christians, as well as many of religious people. For example, if you want to know what I think about Jesus Christ and stuff, right? I think it's quite simple. When I was about 18, I looked at it rationally and it didn't make no sense, so I moved away from it. Then, when I started to understand a lot of it's metaphoric, I moved back towards it. Now I'm more in accordance with Islam and Christianity. Why? Not because I see a lot of these stories as being literal. I understand what these things are trying to do. And I understand the thing called astrotheology, which is the original and most basic form of religion, which is based on observation. Jesus Christ makes sense in terms of all the names that's been linked to him, like the morning star, which is also what Lucifer was called, right? You know that, right?
I don't know about Jesus being called Morning Star.
Well, just Google it. That's one of his names, as well as the Lamb and all that kind of, the light of the
Torah, or is it?
It's talking
again?
about the modern day Bible, maybe
the morning star, the light of the world, all this. You know, the light refers to Lucifer. Lucifer is light. Lucifer means knowledge.
Yeah.
The chemical inside the glowworm, you know them glowworms, that's called Luciferian. Yeah? You have Luke Skywalker. It's supposed to mean Lucius. It just means light versus Darth Vader. It's all symbolic. Yeah. Now, when you want to talk about, if we're going to have a debate about whether Luke Skywalker is real and Darth Vader, it's a joke. But if we talk about what they represent, now we're in my territory and I understand where they're coming from. So Jesus represents something to me, only to me.
Okay,
But what he doesn't understand is this. You see, there are many types of Christianity. I don't know if you know that. But for example, when you come to Europe or in the Western world, especially before America existed, right? And when King James was there in them eras, yeah? You see, there was a time when the Christian Europeans were banned, absolutely banned to hold a Bible.
Yep.
For hundreds of years.
That was when it's Catholicism.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yep.
And they've waited for such a time until they dumped down the people and they informed them only what they wanted them to hear.
who was that emperor?
No, they were always dumb.
Constantine. I don't know.
No, that's the guy that created Catholicism.
Yeah.
Talk about the guy who first accepted it, but he had another name.
The
First
guy
guy who accepted Christianity as a Roman emperor.
as a Roman, that was
Cyprus,
Constantine.
yeah. Cyprus, no.
That was Constantine. It was Rome. Yeah, it was Rome.
Constantine, that's what I said.
Constantine the first, I think it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of Constantines, but it's one of them.
And then they had the Nicene Council in 325 AD, which he did what in? Right? You already had the Gnostic Christianity, you already had Coptic Christianity, yeah. So he created a new one, and guess what he put inside there? What? They all linked up with 266 priests and bishops and stuff, right? And they all conspired to create their version. Remember, they were killing Christians at the time.
So
they were killing them. Yeah, that's why do you think the devil's got a pitchfork?
Yeah.
Because that's the Greek god Trident, yeah, who carries the trident, the god of the underworld, because the Greeks and the Romans, they had gods that represented certain things. All they did is put it inside Christianity, and then they called it, like, for example, December the 25th, this is what Christians celebrate, right?
Yeah.
When it's
Jesus,
a homosexual ceremony.
Yeah, I think it's Valentine's.
No, December the 25th is Saturnalia. It was a time in Roman history where the men used to get drunk, beat their wives, and have sex with their friends, with their male friends, right? That's December the 25th.
I don't want to hear that, but there's a point I was trying to make with the Constantine thing, yeah?
Go for it, yeah.
Constantine or
You was talking about Constantine, it doesn't matter.
Constantine, innit?
But you was talking about dumbing down the people.
Yeah, so they were dumping on the people, and eventually they came up with this Bible that they have today. Yeah. And when they came up with this Bible, there was no objections. And the reason why there was no objections to the Bible is simply because, why? People, they were ready to take whatever. They were scared.
Fear factor.
Yeah, and also, yeah, and they as you said, they killed a lot of Christians
when did that stop?
who opposed. It stopped when the King James version came out.
No, really?
I think
so. After King James, there was no. After
so.
King James, there was no Reformation.
After King James, I think King James and the Protestants allowed people to have Bibles.
Martin Luther, right?
Yeah.
People know about Martin Luther King. They don't know about Martin Luther, who was the. Right, Martin Luther, which I'm assuming Martin Luther King was named after. Yeah. Martin Luther's the German priest who went against the Catholic Church because Protestantism didn't even exist. It was just Catholicism, and the Roman popes.
Hence the name protest, because they protested.
He protested and he put some document up on. He dared to go against the Pope. The Pope is the king of Europe. Always was the king of Europe.
The Black Pope as well.
Then you got the Black Pope who's supposed to be like the black nobility and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, this guy dared to go against them because what his argument was, how dare the Pope use Catholicism to make money? They were making so much money because you had to pay to go to heaven. You had to pay for priests to pray for you, right? You had to pay for certain ceremonies and stuff. So and like you said, or I think you were saying, only certain people were allowed to even read the Bible. But don't forget, most people were illiterate, even past this, right up until
people
the 18th.
Were burnt
right up
and
until
killed and hanged for having a Bible in their houses.
The Witchfinder General, that's a real thing, where they used to go and try witches. And the test was to dunk them in water and it was never going to pass. This is people being deluded. You could even go to the stage where the Pope renounced it a sin. They made it a sin to wash yourself. Or they made it a sin to have sex unless it's a Friday at 2 p.m. and all this kind of mad stuff. This is why I don't listen to priests.
But the point I was trying to make is this. You see, right now when you look into the Bible, there are some
Which one?
missing. The King James and the Protestant and the Catholics as well.
Okay, which has got less books than the Catholic Bible.
Yeah, but still, they all got. Some of them got.
So they took books out. Why would you take books out of the Quran? Would you take passages out of the Quran?
Let me
Never do that, would you?
Let me finish.
Why did they do it?
But they can,
Exactly.
for example, if you're trying to push a certain agenda, you can take certain things out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, according to that Christian Prince dude, you like have heard of that, right? According to him, there are some verses missing out the Quran.
No, there isn't.
One of it, because the donkey, ain't it famous about the donkey in the certain parts?
No, that's made up. But I'm trying to make a point. We'll come back to this.
A
We'll come
dude
back to the
named
Quran.
Christian Prince.
We'll come
It's
back to the
like
Quran.
debaters.
Just keep that on your mind because that's a very important question. But the thing is this, you see, Ethiopia, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite countries when I'm speaking about Orthodox Christianity.
Coptic Christianity. That's right.
Orthodox, and they're the
It's like Coptic Christianity.
real Christians,
So
right?
you say the Byzantines.
Ethiopians.
No.
Or you saying if it's the Habashans.
Today, I'm talking about in the modern world today.
Yeah.
If you want to find out the real Christians, like Christians to the core, go to Ethiopia.
I'd agree. They're the ones with the most claim.
Exactly.
The House of Solomon, all that.
Bro, these people have a historical
connection.
Historical record of like Thomas. You know, Thomas, one of the disciples of Jesus.
Yeah, Gospel of Thomas.
Yeah, he came to Ethiopia.
That's not in your Bible, by the way. Or that's not in the Bible, though. They you know why they kept Gospel of Thomas out?
Yeah.
Because Gospel of Thomas was talking about you don't need priests and imams.
But
you don't need them. God's with you.
Yeah,
That's what Gospel said.
Also, he had more. His narrative was close to Islam because he wasn't even viewing Jesus as to be a god or all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
he went much further and he said that we are all children of God and we all have the power of Jesus.
Exactly. If you believe in God,
But to some extent, I don't think we have the power of Jesus, but if you're in a certain situation, you're a godly man, of course God will help you.
Well, they're the Gospels I agree with. I'm down with the Gospel of Thomas.
I would agree with that. You know why? Right. Because do you remember from the Quran, the boy and the king? Ashabul Ukhdud.
Yeah.
This is a boy who wasn't a prophet, a messenger, but who was only a pious guy who was trying to convey the message of God, right? Yeah. And he was able to cure the blind. He wasn't a prophet, he was able to walk on water. Because what? He's connected to God, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah. Now come back to the point. Yeah.
I don't think you hear what I'm saying. I'm saying allegedly.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come back to that. I know.
Because we don't know, do we?
We don't know.
Look how many frauds we have today. I'm not saying it's a fraud. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I want to get back to the
most
point.
people I know are frauds.
Yeah, I
in
know.
this day and age.
Yeah.
All them psychics. Yeah, but but we have no evidence. All right. So why is it? It's a great question.
You're shaped by
I can only be shaped by what I know, by my environment.
You're right.
Why is it that it's only why God only came to talk and the angels? Yeah, they only came and the supernatural things happened, if they are supernatural. They only happened when there's no cameras being created yet, right? There's no video cameras, there's no cameras. Okay. It's all thousands of years ago before anybody could prove anything.
Because I've seen when there was a bad time of oppression not too long ago, like 5 years ago, in like near Gaza and West Bank, and I saw fishes. Yeah, they were banned from having they were. Like food was taken away from them and stuff like that, and they didn't have food to eat, and it was Ramadan, and fish were jumping out of the water onto the sand for them to be able to eat. Do you understand? Fish were jumping out of the water and therefore killing themselves, so the people in Palestine could eat.
Okay, you're saying that was God that did that?
Well, I don't see any other fishes jumping out of the water.
So your explanation for things happening that you can't explain is God must have done it.
Of course.
So that's the problem.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the problem. And I'm not saying I don't.
Or maybe you could say the sea was poison and they're trying to jump out of the poison. Yeah.
Who knows? But I know. I know.
I get your point.
You could Google, and I'm not saying this is the reason. You could Google fish jumping onto the shore. Yeah. You'll find species that do that all day long. I don't think that's what you were talking about. I think it was some crazy phenomenon. I would agree with you. I'll go with it.
It's unusual in their land.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'll go with it. But where's the evidence of it being God? Like, nature is so crazy. In fact, have you ever heard fact is more crazy than fiction? You ever heard that term?
Yeah.
Where nothing's more madder than real life. You can watch any movie, but you look at certain stories that happen in the world, and that's like crazier than anything you could ever think of. Sometimes fact is more crazy than fiction. And so how do I think it's called God of the gaps, where when you don't understand something, before we knew what was in the sky, we attributed it to be God sitting in the clouds. We didn't understand. Before we knew that the earth goes around the sun, we said the sun went around the earth because we didn't know. That's called God of the gaps. It's God of not knowing.
Yeah, but I feel like it's all a bit biased, because if something like that happened to you, like a fish is jumping out to you, you'll think God actually saved me and gave me food.
That's an assumption that I would think.
I would think that.
Yeah, you would think that because you believe in God. You answered that already.
No,
but you know, let me answer. Can I answer this? Sorry about that, brother.
No,
you see, I'm a Somali, right? You see, in Somalia, before Islam came to us and this knowledge of God in the sky, the Somalis, and before even the Arabs, were even Muslims, or when the Arabs were turning to faces and idols they carved from themselves, calling that gods, and the rest of the world, half of the world was doing that. The Somali people,
they knew there was God.
But I'm talking about eventually. Yeah. So basically, the Somali people, what they did is like they believed in something called Waq, and Waq is the what's it called, the deity above. So, if you go to Somalia right now, and you try and look for idols, or which certain people used to worship, you won't find it.
Okay.
Right, and so basically they believe in this sky god called Waq. So the idea that there is something greater than us which is outside of this world is something that stayed within humanity for so long time. So basically this idea...
So it's killing and raping.
So there must have been a certain contact with humanity that actually gave them this thought that they kept holding on to.
Yeah, it's called astrotheology. That's what I tried to explain earlier.
Okay.
Astrotheology is, to my understanding, and no one will ever be able to prove it, it's just one of those things where I have to say, it's just...
Could be, yeah. 50-50.
It's like saying everybody came from, you remember when we were saying earlier, everybody came from East Africa, and we don't know when surnames were created.
Say everybody.
Yeah, maybe they didn't, maybe they did. That's my whole point. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know these things. And it's the same thing with astrotheology, but it makes sense according to most of the religions that were formed before the Abrahamic faiths, and like what you was just talking about there, right? Astrotheology is basically the understanding that nature and your surroundings is responsible for your surroundings, or the way you are And so basically you would look up at the sun. This is why most of the religions around the world, especially pre the religion or pre the religions of the world, they all revolve around the sun. This because why? It's obvious that the sun in the sky, you would look up at it and you think, wow, it makes everything light every day. It warms us up. When it's out every day, it makes things grow. When it's cold and it's snowing and it's dark, animals are trying to run you down and kill you. So it's obvious that you would associate, it's just association. You would associate certain environmental influences with having impacts based on what they are. So people, what people did was they put a face on the sun and they called it Ra or something, right? And they understood at the time that the Ra was just the sun. It was just like talking about the three little pigs.
But do you know why they said that though?
They only said it because it was just to, all it was to simplify the story. This is my understanding.
Yeah.
Later, other civilizations came into places like Egypt and stuff, and they looked at them and they thought, hold on, they took the personifications literally. So rather than saying Ra is just a representation of the sun, they says, oh, the sun, Ra, is actually a guy who actually lives in the sky, who's separate to the sun. And that's what happened with Jesus. Jesus is actually the sun. That's why Jesus walks on water, like every day. Jesus walks on, the sun walks on the horizon, right? So Jesus, or the sun, dies on when? December the 22nd, and he's resurrected 3 days later on December the 25th. Why is that? That's because the sun stops moving south. December the 22nd. This is nature.
But you don't get it though. You're looking at it from a Christian point of view.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at it from a scientific point of view.
In Islam, we don't believe Jesus even died.
Yeah, but you can't. If you can't prove he existed, then what's the what?
With science, most of it is theory, so they're not actual facts.
It's theory based on evidence, though, like you said earlier, based on evidence.
Yeah, based on evidence.
Yeah.
But like,
religion
for
is.
example, if you get a group of pigs and they do something, that's taken.
But also, we could say.
If you take another group of pigs from God knows where, like another country,
Yep.
they might do something different.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, with science, I won't take it all. Because like, when you make everything philosophy, you lose. I feel like, because I'm not going to say it's fact, I feel like you lose a sense of reality. Sort of, you know what I'm saying?
So if you look at reality and look at it for the wider thing that it is, you lose reality. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's kind of twisted when you say it like that. When you take too much philosophy,
What's philosophy? It's just looking at the world.
Yeah, philosophy is just
and asking questions. Ideas and asking questions about the world.
But that's other people's philosophy.
Different philosophies.
But religion is other people's religion.
But coming back
other
to
people's
the point,
thoughts. In fact, religion is philosophy. But it's philosophy that people say it is true. The way I said it is exactly the way it is. There's no room for error. Philosophy can evolve.
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean?
Back to the point where we started.
So that's why. Sorry. That's why I'm kind of with. I'm kind of with Islam.
You're wrong.
Religion
is no philosophy. How can it be philosophy if they're following the commandments
of
the supernatural?
Well, I'm saying religion is philosophy that's fixed.
No, but I see what he's saying. I understand what he's saying.
It's religion.
Let's come back to the point though.
From God.
Yeah, but let's come back to the point.
Yeah, but I have no evidence for that God. That's why I call it philosophy. To someone who believes in a God, it's not philosophy. It's fact, right?
Yeah, but
I agree with what you're saying.
The point we're trying to make is that I was talking about whether Jesus really existed.
Yeah,
right?
whether Jesus existed is what we're
so
talking
now,
about.
because we have to keep bringing every time we swear.
From
but we keep swaying though. We keep going.
You still don't know, the Jesus, the religion thing.
But because every time we start, boom, we get into something else. We get carried away.
Digression, man. Digression.
Yeah. Right now we've covered so many.
I like
subjects
digressions, man. I like them.
But so basically, in Ethiopia, for example, Saint Thomas, who is as a Muslim,
Coptic.
he came to Ethiopia.
Or Gnostics,
right? He came to Ethiopia, and the Ethiopian people became Christians at the time of Jesus, right? Or basically it reached them, and it's either two. They became Christians through the disciples, or they became Christians at his time.
I think it was after Jesus.
Yeah, but
or after the time.
Saint Thomas came to Ethiopia to preach the religion.
I don't think it was at the same time, but you could be right.
God knows. I don't know, but all I know is that Saint Thomas came to Ethiopia to preach the gospel.
Yeah. And I think Matthew did Alexandria as well.
Exactly, but guess what? The name Saint Thomas, which is not even his name, in Ethiopia is a whole different name.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. But
I think they all have different names. I think they just westernized names.
Yeah, they just westernized
as far as I'm aware.
So they can, so that they could be on
So
the
they
top.
associate with him. It's like the Chinese having a Chinese Jesus.
Yeah.
Just so they can associate, because you should always have a deity that looks like yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's where black Africans have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Because they are worshipping people that don't look like them.
Well, you're right.
problem is,
I do agree with that.
Even if you do provide
Yeah.
information for Nelson that convinces him Jesus exists, you then have to go to the next stage and prove to him that all the miraculous things that were documented, Jesus really
That's
did.
what I said last time in another
If
video.
Saint Thomas proved, what did he say?
No, did you hear what he just said though?
Can you repeat that one more time?
So even if you prove to Nelson historically that Jesus existed, you're then going to have to go to the next stage and prove to Nelson that all the miracles really
Thank you.
happened.
Because I can admit that there was a rabbi that was anti-establishment that was around at that time. There's been many. And because Jesus is a legend, he's supposed to be an anti-establishment rabbi that came to reorder the word of God the way he saw it, because everybody fell off. They was doing all crap
that's a good
shit.
question.
That's like what Muhammad did.
That's a really
Muhammad
good
was
question.
a reformist,
But I'm
right?
gonna answer you in a
He came
different
to
way.
bring the word of God back again, right?
Let the
That's
brother
what Muhammad
start.
came to do.
Yeah.
And
Now,
to change-
now
to change-
your question.
So again.
And abrogation also, because to change certain laws that the Jews had.
Yeah, whatever, which implies kind of that God made mistakes, but but we.
Because their laws were made so difficult, so many Israelis laws were made so difficult, because they kept asking questions and saying, why should we do this? Why should we do that?
Yeah.
Think of what you're saying. Think of what you're saying.
yeah.
You're saying that God, Almighty, all powerful, made things too difficult for the things.
Too difficult. They made it difficult for themselves. So the question they were asking, like, which, for example, Surah Al-Baqarah, like the cow, like what color is it? What does it do? Which specific cow is it? Like, he said kill a cow. Do you know what I'm saying?
Who said kill a cow?
Moses.
How does that kill a cow?
Okay, but was this God telling him to do this or?
Yeah, he told Moses to tell them to kill a cow so they can find out who a murderer was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And what they did, yeah, they asked, what is this cow? What color is it? What does it do?
Is it
Like,
fat? Is it thin?
is it-
Too
is
many
it fat?
syllables.
In accordance with who? Was that in accordance with God or themselves?
No,
They just
were
started
just
asking
being-
questions.
Silly
Yeah,
question
he said
that-
kill a
yeah.
cow. Do you understand?
It was just
What,
a cow.
in order for them to follow God's law, they
It's like
devised.
if I said to you, kick that rock, and
Yeah.
then you looked at me and said, what rock? Is it the big rock? Is it the small rock? Is it
Where is it? Is it down in South London?
Okay, so are you saying that God gave them laws and they started asking questions on how there was?
Not laws. He just told them a command.
was just
Okay,
one command,
and
that
then they
particular moment.
devised tests or questions on how they was questioning God on how do I identify these?
No, but he's saying kill. For example, yeah.
God just said, go
not
kill a cow.
rock,
Just
yeah.
a cow.
Right,
Just
right.
kill a cow.
I say,
That's
get
simple,
me a
innit?
bar of chocolate, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't care which one it is.
Yeah.
But you say which chocolate?
Yeah.
From what shop? They made it difficult for them. You're making it difficult.
So you're saying they should have just done exactly what it
With
said?
command, you know what I'm saying?
Like
They
just
made it
a
difficult
cow.
for themselves.
Just get any cow in it. It's a cow, not many cows, not fat ones.
Understand?
But the fact that they made it too difficult for themselves, saying, "Oh, you know what? Is it right? Is it red? Is it blue?"
That's
Is it
evidence that God didn't write it, that God didn't give them the laws. That is the actual
How is
evidence.
it evidence?
Easy.
Alright.
If I'm all powerful and almighty and all knowing, I would know how to manipulate you or help you
Yeah.
to follow some rules that I've set, right? If I'm, if,
But that's why God said, "This is not a commandment."
what's the difference between a rule and a command?
That wasn't.
In fact,
He thinks that is a part. Okay, let me explain.
No,
to you.
what's the
You
difference
see-
between
you see, at a particular time, someone got murdered,
yeah,
and the only way to do something or to bring this person
well,
back,
yeah,
back to
bring
life is to
justice.
sacrifice a cow.
Why is that the only way?
I don't know.
It wasn't sacrifice the cow. What they were told to do
Yeah.
is to kill the cow, take
Yeah.
a piece of meat from the cow,
Yeah.
and hit the dead person with it, and the dead person would rise and say, "This person killed me."
Right,
Do you understand?
and this is God's law, right?
It's not. But when
At
you
that
say
particular
between law and
moment,
command,
at
yeah?
that
Sorry,
particular
that's God's command, yeah?
The
At that
difference
particular
what I'm trying to say
moment.
between a law and a command is he's saying it for this scenario, do this. He's not saying you have to do this every time someone dies. You understand?
for that scenario.
It's just for that.
So what do you do in every other scenario?
No,
Then?
but it was just for that. Because they asked who killed this man, and they asked Moses. Moses asked God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that.
You do know Moses is referred to as the lawbringer, right?
Yeah, but
So
we
why is it
digress.
not a law?
I think
No, but
he doesn't get it. Let's
No,
go on
no,
with that.
I get it. This is my point. This is the reason why there's no God the way you guys describe it. Because To me, if there's an all-knowing,
You wanna-
all-powerful
you-
God,
you wanna discuss
I'm
that?
gonna give that.
You wanna
I'm
discuss
gonna
that?
give that
How about-
props. That God is not gonna be incompetent to where it does things that don't make any sense or that fails. God's not gonna fail. Only someone like us would fail.
Wait, brother. how
Because
about-
we're fallible.
Wait, how about we discuss whether God exists or not? That's even a better topic.
That's
a better topic.
That's what we should be doing because
Okay.
we're discussing something you ain't even proved to me yet.
Okay, because now.
So we have to
now
do
I
that.
tried. No,
thank
I
you,
was
thank you.
trying.
Huh?
no,
Believe in some type of God.
My God at the moment,
Yeah.
because I'm on a journey and I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to find out what it is, and I'm using Islam and I'm using Christianity, but I'm trying to go to where their sources were, right? And I think that's where Islam and Christianity fail.
But
They don't go.
spiritually,
Yeah, but-
do you feel like there's some type of God?
Do you think there's a
Yeah,
being?
there's a creator. There's a creator force. At the moment, that's energy,
And,
because energy is.
in the Quran, it says everyone has a fitrah, that everyone has a natural inclination to God. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm fine with that. I think everybody.
But that's a
I think everybody
But
believes.
don't you see that as a proof? That's said in a book.
Yeah, but it's not a dude who cares how you walk about and what clothes you wear
What's
and
that,
what
bro?
your sexual
I need to
activity is.
talk to these guys.
Energy don't care about that stuff.
Okay. How
You
about
understand?
this? How
Energy
about-
didn't write a book. What energy did was set the laws of physics. That's what I understand.
What's up?
But I got to understand this.
When you go science, you lose me, bro.
Huh?
When
Yeah.
you go science,
Because
you
I
lose me.
want to get into this. I want to get into this with you.
What?
One sec.
And I know. Do you know what as well? When Albert Einstein and them man they're going about science, they lose me. All I can do is go with what I can understand.
Yeah.
So there's certain things in science that you understand. That's the level that you go to. But like you would with the Quran and learn about the Quran, I think we should also learn about science and try to learn about this environment
Yeah, but-
that is basically, if God exists, they're the law. That's the laws of God. Laws of physics is the laws of God. That's why I think science and nature, science and religion used to be like that.
I feel like this still are.
No, they've gone.
I think
They've gone.
science
They've
was
gone.
invented by religion to start with.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
astrotheology.
Yeah.
But that was when you looked at stuff and you saw it for what it was. There was no man in the sky.
Yeah, but
No
at
one's
some
ever
point-
seen a man in the sky.
Okay. No.
No, but some people,
But as a
some
Muslim,
people
we don't
imply
believe
that though. You get
Muslims
me?
don't believe that. But because we don't want to digress.
Go
but I
for
think
it,
this
go
guy
for
might
it.
go because I want to finish this. And he asked me a question as well. If I prove to you that Jesus existed, how do we prove that? Basically, how do we
That's my
prove
brother,
that the
man.
miracles?
Yeah, man. Nice to
the
talk to you,
miracles.
man.
How do we prove the miracles that Jesus did was real? Now, and also I want to get into the existence of God as well because this is really important topic.
But need to do that first.
But to answer your question, I'm guessing you're both African. Yep. Right?
You mean all three of us are African?
No, I'm not.
Oh, there is a different type of African.
I'm not trying to exclude myself because you guys have fluent English, so I thought you could be Jamaican.
What did you say? We had flawed English.
Fluent.
Oh,
English.
okay.
So
So
I
do you.
thought-
Your
yeah.
English is great, man.
It's not
No,
that
I would
great.
never think. I thought you was born in England. The way you talk.
No, I'm not. No, my accent is a bit like off in it. But anyways, coming
Not
back,
to me, eh? Not to me.
Coming
eh,
back
mate?
to the point, yeah.
Talk better than enough of these youths who have been born here can't even talk English properly,
Yeah,
man.
but my point I'm trying to make is that the reason why I asked you that because in Africa, I don't know if you know about voodoo, black magic.
I know bits about it. I know.
Okay, now, no scientist or no one would dare to go to Africa or some people who know voodoo and experiment on themselves, someone to do voodoo.
They've already experimented, man. What's wrong with you, man?
Voodoo.
Every claim that's been made on this planet has been tested.
There is no
From the
claim.
Bermuda Triangle
You're
to cutting chickens and squirting blood on the thing.
You're gonna have to show me. Actually, I was watching a show on BBC Three, iPlayer, right? By
Decent channel.
There's a white lady. I forgot her name, right? She goes around the world.
Although say straight, man, don't listen to BBC or ITV.
Yeah, but coming back to the point.
But I used to.
Yeah,
But
but I used to as well. Coming back to the point, yeah. This lady, she goes to Africa and she started messing about with the magicians and the voodoo doctors.
I've heard of
And
this
guess
too.
what happened?
Yeah.
She angered one of the guys.
Right.
And he's like, you're not gonna walk peacefully out of my door.
Right.
And I swear to God, as soon as she walked out the door, she fell.
Okay.
She collapsed.
Okay.
Right? She was so sick. She was taken to the hospital. They checked her. There's nothing wrong with her, but she's saying, I've got pain.
Yep.
I've got pain. What is it?
Yeah.
The doctor's saying there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah. And that's a live TV show. As soon as it happened, guess what? They cut that bit off. They didn't want to film no more the show anymore.
Is that your evidence?
My point I'm trying to make is that how about, because we are saying there's no such thing as miracles. Of course, we don't see miracles today. We can't see a man who's walking down the road. But also, for example, the miracles of Jesus, let's look at it as light and darkness. Voodoo is darkness, the miracles from God are light. Now, let's just say, how about if we could still examine, if we're able to examine the dark side of these so-called miracles, then basically if the dark side exists, then obviously things that Jesus did existed simply because this is the light side of the miracle.
That's a massive if, though.
Yeah, but I have witnessed. For example, I was in Somalia one time, and there was a girl who was basically we were just talking, having a good time.
Yeah.
And guess what? All of a sudden, she fell and she fainted, and then she woke up shouting with a whole different freaking voice. And there was a guy. Obviously this is subjective, but I'm speaking from a witness. There was a guy speaking through her. Literally.
Okay.
Right? You can still feel her female voice, but she's trying to sound like it.
Could you see this dude?
No, it's speaking.
Yeah, who's that dude, man? What's it?
Basically, it's speaking through the girl. Now, what happened?
Oh, he's not on it. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
But what happened here is that so basically they read the Quran on her and all of that, to get out of it. And this thing started saying where it's from and how it got, she used to love this girl, all that bullshit. So they had to find this guy to get rid of this, whatever he did to her.
Yeah.
You understand? And when they went to the guy and they said, what do you want? He said, he wants the girl. He said, you can't get the girl. What do you want? So they had to please him to let her, to let her go. And so he did. And now she's fine. I don't want to say her name because she knows me. She watches my videos.
Okay.
But that's what happened.
That's what you believe happened.
I saw it happen. Like
you saw
right now.
You saw the spirit
of a
leave her body.
No. She was. Listen now, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you collapse.
Yeah. That's happened many times.
And then you wake up with a whole different mentality. You're speaking differently. Like, for example, it's not you anymore. And you're talking about names and places. Because I'm saying that I am this person.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm talking through you is because I've done voodoo or magic or something, whatever it is. Right. And now that's why I'm talking through you. You understand?
Okay.
Now, the only way, if you went to a doctor, he's psychotically, mentally ill. Yeah. But the only way to understand a spiritual disease is to conduct through spiritual doctorism. That's a word that I invented, right?
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. So basically, that's the only cure. Now, the Somalis at that time, at that moment, as a Muslim, we used Islamic scriptures to get rid of whatever was in there. So the thing revealed itself. Now, if I read the Quran on you, the verses that are meant for those things, whatever's in you, they can't hold it to the extent that they would have to reveal themselves. Okay. And then the only way for us to prove that thing existed is that person will tell us where he is, why he's doing what he did to you, and then obviously how do we even know? We had to track the girl.
Does it work?
Yeah. Literally, a guy we don't know where he was, spoke what's it called, out of this girl. We had to, whatever was speaking out of the girl confirmed where he was. And then we had to go to that place and find the guy.
Let me guess, was she speaking?
Huh?
Was she speaking?
Yeah. But
how do we know it was the spirit and not her because it came from her mouth? I would have said she said it.
You don't get it. She doesn't know who the guy was. And as the guy was speaking, he said, I love this girl. Yeah. She's always passing by here, and this is why I did what I did, so that I can gain.
I suppose the question is, how do you know she's being genuine?
What do you mean?
Just that. How do you know she's being genuine? How do you know she's not playing around or delusional?
Are you delusional?
Am I delusional at times?
No, I'm talking about.
I'm serious at times.
Honestly, now, right now, we're all rational. Right?
Not right now. Right now, I'm cold, but I feel I'm rational enough.
Yeah, but when we say delusional, what do you think I'm talking about?
Well, delusional would be making mistakes, not being in full control of your senses and your body and your mind.
So there are times where you don't have full
and then you got lying where you're doing it on purpose. So I would say, how do you know it weren't any of them? Because here's the impact of what you're saying. If you're correct and religion does solve all these things, how comes we can't use it to solve the problems of the world? Can't use it. You can't apply it.
In the countries that we live in today, it's a world where it's what you can see and what you can touch and what you can feel. If you can't touch it,
that's not true.
If you can't feel it, touch it, and see it, it doesn't exist.
That's only true of certain. That's only true of people who have left religion behind. But
I'm
most of the
talking
world,
about- I'm
most of the world's still
talking about-
religious.
I'm talking
They still
about-
believe in.
I'm talking
They still
about-
believe in what you believe in,
Yeah,
and it don't help them.
I'm talking about.
Saudi Arabia ain't helped.
What do you mean?
Yeah, most of the people in Saudi Arabia believe in spirits and stuff, right?
You know,
Is their
it's
country
crazy.
a shining example for the world to set?
Listen,
They give me
the
any
reason-
religious country
the
that
reason
does
why-
that is open to.
The reason why I brought this up to you is that how about you, like for example, you're in Africa, you can go back to Africa anytime you want. How about you experiment this for yourself? Get a video
Yeah,
and experiment it. If nothing happens,
yeah.
you'd be like, okay, finally, there's no such thing as spirituality.
Okay, so test it myself.
Test it yourself.
I've tested certain things.
But
I've
do
never
that
got.
one.
I've never gone to Africa to test it.
Nah,
though.
do the voodoo one,
Okay, no problem.
right? And the reason why I'm
I'll take
saying
you
the
up on
voodoo,
that.
the reason why I'm saying the voodoo.
I'm going Ghana
No,
next year. I'll
the-
test
the,
it.
The reason why I'm saying the voodoo one, right? Because for you, sometimes you have to touch the darkness to reach the light, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So since you're saying, how do we know Jesus did this, Jesus did that? But in case you fall into that darkness, know that just seek God.
Yeah. I don't think voodoo is all negative anyway. I think voodoo. I know very little about it, but what my understanding
I'm
is.
not glorifying it. It's a really bad thing.
That's probably because
It
you
can
see it as a bad
mess you
thing.
up.
That's because you
mess
see.
you up.
Well, then that's the same with messing with any spirit or any god of any religion.
No, not God. We're not-
God, if you mess it about, will mess you up.
No,
Am I wrong?
I'll tell you why.
If you mess about with Allah,
Yeah.
Allah will mess you up.
What
Am
do
I
you
lying?
mean? Okay, okay.
Well, I mean what you meant.
No. When I say
Voodoo is not good or bad. You can use it positively.
You can't
Can't you
use
use voodoo
you
to like
can't.
help with things as well?
No, you
And-
can't.
You
No,
can.
How do you know if you don't believe in it?
No, I'm
Come
like,
on, come on.
I don't believe in Islam, but I understand.
But do you believe in voodoo?
I understand its concepts.
But do you believe in voodoo? That
Do I
you
believe
can
that it's
affect-
real?
Yeah. It has an effect on people.
I have no evidence that suggests to me that it is correct.
Okay,
However,
understandable.
I've had it explained to me, just like with Islam. I know a lot about Islam,
Yeah.
right? But it doesn't mean that I have to believe what the people in it believe, but I understand why you believe what you believe. I understand the stories based around it. I understand some of the principles of it. All I'm saying to you is I understand some of the principles. I know less about voodoo than I do Islam.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you said, so the question you asked, how do we know if the girl was delusional?
Yeah, yeah.
How can someone who's being delusional, let's say this girl is a very calm girl, she's never gone that crazy before, never anyone has seen her before. It's like, for example, when you know someone so much, there are things you think, okay, this person will never
So
do
you
that.
know her really well like that?
Yeah, we were best friends, man.
Okay.
Right? And she was also like the same clown and all that stuff, right?
Right.
So we were close.
Right.
And there are things that I know she won't do.
Okay.
Like literally the girl, like she was throwing out, like she was going crazy, right? But at the end of the day, we had to calm her down, read the Quran on her and calm her down, all that stuff. And then that's how she had to confess.
Okay.
And it's not her confessing.
Yeah.
And the thing that actually intrigued me is that when she got better, we asked her, do you know the guy? She said she's never seen him.
Right.
She doesn't know him. She never seen him even in a dream. The fact that a person she's never met before and she has never seen before had to speak through her, and then we had to go search for that guy and find the location. Right?
How do you know she's not deluded in thinking that though? I get why you think that, but why? How do you know she?
Okay. Let's say she's deluded, but she gave us a name.
Name of what?
The name of the person.
What was the name?
She gave us a name.
All right. So let's say she gave Michael Thomas.
Okay, let's say Michael Thomas.
Yeah. What did?
Oh,
What
that's
did?
good.
How did you? How was you able to substantiate?
Because at the end of the day, the person that's speaking through her, it's
Yeah.
not her, just so you know.
Yeah, so
this person
let's say this guy,
this
Michael
person
Thomas,
saying,
yeah?
I am Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
And then we asked, Michael Thomas, where are you from?
Oh, through her still. You
Yeah.
didn't go and find this Michael
no,
Thomas. So you just
Where are you
asked like,
from?
okay.
Yeah.
So
So
Michael
this
Thomas
person
said he's from Saturn,
Let's just say he's from there. And then we say, what area?
the dark side,
What road?
road on Saturn.
Let's give you an example.
All right. Well, if we're gonna use roads, yeah. If we're gonna use a road, let's not go with the Saturn thing.
Yeah.
If you want to use a road, let's say they're from Nottingham.
No.
Yeah. They're from.
Phone number, everything. Just give her everything.
Yeah. So you got the actual address of this person.
Cool.
Then what did you do?
Now,
You went round to the
now
address.
keep in mind, whoever's speaking through this person does not know that person.
Michael Thompson don't know this person. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
And
we
the
got his
person-
address.
And the girl does not know Michael Thompson.
Okay. Can we have a phone number as well and everything?
I don't know. But now we have the location
We have the location
of the person.
Yep.
So we go there
So you go to the address.
and we confirmed that actually Michael Thomas lives there.
Yeah, and he says, I did speak through her.
And he says, no, he won't say I speak through her. He would say, I did something. Because he doesn't want to...
He told you that he used this girl, your friend, to speak through.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Through voodoo, yeah.
Through voodoo.
And we had to, like, because there's a heavy punishment in Somalia or in Islam.
Yeah.
Anyone who does black magic or voodoo is death.
Okay.
So obviously you had to lay out this to him. Now we know it's you. If you want to live, you're gonna have to tell us the truth. We're gonna let you go.
But didn't he admit it? Didn't he say it was
he
like...
did. Yeah.
Yeah, you said he admitted it.
He did.
Knowing
he did.
that it's death.
Yeah, because he tried to conceal it first. Because no one would be like, well, it was me. I did
So
it.
he actually denied it?
Yeah, in the beginning. They all do that. They would deny it. If
I'm not surprised, especially if it wasn't him.
Yeah. No. But basically, he was saying, basically, this is what happened. But later on, he said, let's say we can't say it wasn't him if we've got his name, his role, and where he lives. Like imagine if you were doing the same, if you were speaking through a girl.
How do you know she didn't know where he lived?
Because she doesn't even know the guy.
Well, she's the one who told you the address.
Yeah, but it's not her speaking.
She said she don't know.
But it's her speaking. It's
basically,
not her.
I have no way of qualifying whether
Okay.
she knows him or not. I have no way.
But that's what she said.
I mean, I've heard of the stories of like, when you heard of like young girls who able to speak an ancient language, that's way more convincing than your story.
Okay.
And even then, the scientists have tried to clarify.
The thing I saw in Africa, and like, I just wish that you went there and witnessed it for yourself.
I'm going to. You wish it's going to become real.
The problem is, what you're saying is very real, obviously, but
It is
the problem
very.
is it's an anecdotal evidence.
What do you mean?
In the sense that it's something that you...
Second hand.
Okay, second
It's
hand.
second hand.
I agree with that.
Because it could
I
be
agree.
what he's. I'm not even saying what he's saying is not true. I'm saying how do I believe it? That's all I'm saying.
No,
you could be 100%
I agree with
right.
that. I agree with
and
that. And
why
this
would
is-
a God, if this is God doing these things or
not God doing
or
it.
allowing for these things, created these things,
Yeah.
why would it do it in this way? I would never do this to
That's a whole
to something
different-
I created.
Okay, that's simple.
That's me personally.
A simple answer. Let me give you the simple answer. See, this world.
Well, the answer should be you don't know.
No.
It should be.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Honestly speaking, see this world. This world, God set it in a way. It's like a gear. When you start a gear, it just keeps running.
Yeah.
It keeps-
We don't know that, but
Right.
we'll assume that. You don't know that.
You know what?
It's a guess. What you just said is a guess.
No what?
That God set it in a certain way. You don't
I'll tell
know.
you why I said that. I'll back it up with something else, but just listen to this.
Okay.
God set it in a certain way
Yeah.
that things just happen
Things just happen.
in the way they happen.
Random.
It was left like that. That's why we have free will, in some way. But coming back to the point, yeah.
Right.
Now the reason I do agree that you can't believe this because whatever you said, I agree 100%.
It's not that I can't believe, it's just-
yeah, because you don't know.
I
And
just
you've
don't
never
know,
seen it.
yeah.
Exactly. Thank you for being honest. But for you to know this, right? You have two choices in this. If you really want to touch or know about miracles, you either become highly religious, right? And try to understand things from the religious
Which means
point
believing already.
in God, right?
Okay.
Or-
Without the evidence.
Or you can go in a shortcut and go touch because the darkness is closer to the light in some way. Because for you right now, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So in other words, I can either believe without the evidence to believe,
No.
or to find out, or I can just go and touch the dark side, which means what? That means what does that
And
what
you
does
can
that
get-
mean?
and you can get
What does
lost
that
in
mean
there.
scientifically? Go and do what? What would that mean? Go and
Go to South America and go on this holiday trip where
Or
you
in
get
Mexico.
to ingest ayahuasca.
oh,
Nah,
nah,
you're not saying
nah, ayahuasca, I actually want to do that. And if that's what your explanation was,
I'm not gonna
I'm
give
on
you
it.
that. No,
I'm on it.
That thing will mess you up, man.
Because that thing will mess you up.
Yeah, I don't want to say on camera, but I'll tell you off camera later.
And what about ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca. All that
Apparently, it's not harmed anybody. Never harmed anybody.
Astaghfirullah. I'll tell you later. But this
Okay.
the thing is this, yeah. Now, the reason why I said this, right? I'm a Muslim, right? And I totally condemn voodoo rituals and all that stuff, 100%. But the reason why I'm asking you to do it is because
It's because I'm godless.
it's because you're godless.
Which I'm not godless. I admitted to the guy.
because you don't believe, because you associating this being, also got this deity or God, whatever, this great thing above us that created everything, that does not literally exist in the way that we explain it.
No,
But
the way you
however-
explain it, yeah, I still have a God
Yeah,
though.
but for you to understand, literally get a firm faith, right? It's for you to go touch the darkness, because many men many men who became the best Muslims, once upon a time, they touched the darkness, and they were like,
but that's not the problem. The problem is, correct me if I'm wrong. Nelson doesn't have a problem with God or believing that there's a God. He doesn't have a problem. What he has a problem with is your concept of God, Islam, Muhammad.
Okay, but we can explain.
That's the difference.
We can explain my concept. Look, what Nelson believes about God.
Not a problem. I just no, I have no evidence for it.
Yeah, but what Nelson believes about, you know what? Let me tell you something. You know the first step to becoming a Muslim is to say, La ilaha. Do you know what that means? There is no God.
Yeah.
The first step to become a Muslim is to acknowledge that there are no gods.
Yep.
Once you acknowledge that there are no gods, then you might then come to understand.
You mean God's plural? Or
God.
there's no God?
There's no God.
That's right.
I thought it was there's no God where
But
Allah.
I thought it was no one but that one.
Listen. So what's the first step? There is no God. But once you acknowledge, because now you've acknowledged there's no God, but then because you're still searching.
Okay.
But why am I here though? Why is the world? Then after they'll be like, oh, but God.
There's no God but God.
Yeah, there's no God worthy of worship.
So they realised they were wrong.
You missed the point. He doesn't, just correct me if I'm wrong again, he does not dispute that point about a God.
Yeah.
So that
I
part's
don't.
already done.
Okay,
It's
Yeah.
getting him to where you believe you have the truth. It's Islam through Muhammad.
Where you can't eat pork and you can have 3 wives, but a woman can't have 3 husbands. And
So it's like it's like you're a salesman. How are you going to sell Islam?
Yeah.
Let me say it.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I used to work in Sports Direct.
You look like a car salesman still. I think it's the moustache.
Yeah, I can sell to you anything, bro. I can sell your shoes to you, man.
Come on then. Sell my own shoes to me. Go on.
joking.
So no, but he's right though. It's like there's no need to try and convince me that there's a creator force. I have no way of knowing. First and foremost, I kind of believe it because this stuff that's created. So I've got to believe that something created what's here. That's fine.
Something. That
Something.
something is energy, you said.
To my understanding so far, because I'm an ignorant being.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
don't
good.
know.
That's good. Now let's pick up from what I know. I could be wrong, but you can correct me.
I'm
right?
glad you said that because
Yeah.
that's a humble thing to say.
Yeah,
You could
now-
be wrong.
Now, you see, what I studied.
You said you could be wrong.
Now, in what I'm about to say right now, not about Allah or anything, but in what I'm about to say right now.
Yeah.
You see, the thing with energy cannot create something, but energy is the source of creation. You understand?
Yep, that's what I understand of it.
Exactly. So energy is what was made out of creation. So you got energy.
No, apparently you can't create it and you can't kill it.
No, I know, but out of
You can't
energy,
destroy it and you can't create
but
it.
out of energy, you've got what we have.
We have everything, that's been
You know what I'm
created.
saying? So it was the source.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can see that's the same as how people describe God.
Exactly.
It's the same kind of thing.
but-
You can't create God. God created everything. God's everywhere all at once. You know what I'm saying? That's what energy is.
Yeah.
But we have actually facts to support that.
Okay.
So that's why so far, energy is my creator. I'm not going to say God. I'm just going to say energy. Energy is my creator force.
Can we not say?
Now, does energy not want me to eat pork?
But okay, can you?
Does
can you-
energy want me to read a book?
Actually, not eating pork is good for you, scientifically speaking. Now scientists are saying and encouraging people.
Is it?
not to eat
Wait
pork.
Wait a minute.
Go on.
Does that not depend on the quality of the pig?
No, any pork. You can't eat any pork.
So, you can't eat any pork.
Any pig.
Why? I
You
thought
can't
it was because it was nasty because it eats its own shit.
Scientifically speaking,
Yeah.
because the diet of a pig is what it is.
So if the diet of the pig is a healthy diet,
Give me any
you
pig.
see what I'm saying?
No.
If you rear a pig
But you
and
can't.
it doesn't eat the nastiness that these people say a pig shouldn't eat, therefore, because if the pig's eating it, then you're eating it. I get the argument with the pig. It's nasty, it eats its own shit, all this kind of stuff. So these people who have pigs as pets, if you feed pigs gourmet meals, right, or you feed it vegetables or whatever you
I've
want,
never seen a pig that eats clean.
people
Wait a
have
minute.
pets. People have
There's the
pets.
thing in Islam that says if a Muslim is forced or
Oh,
under
yeah,
stress
yeah,
duration,
yeah.
they
can eat
then
pork.
eat pork.
they're
Correct me if I'm
starving
wrong.
and shit,
Correct me
yeah.
if I'm
Because
wrong.
that's out of your will.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Out of
yeah.
your will,
Okay.
But come back to the point, yeah.
But that would go against the health argument because that would for your health.
But it's out of
So
your will
I get
anyways,
that.
yeah.
But in this day and age, we have most of our meat is a load of crap. right?
Yeah.
Most of our chicken.
Apart from halal meat, go on.
No, because halal is just the way it's sacrificed as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but the
it's
thing
got nothing to do with. Some people say that you're not even supposed to eat meat. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even want to get into that argument.
Anyways, but come back to the point because we need to right now. We need to speak about energy and all of this stuff and how
Okay,
how everything is in order. Now we do agree that everything was created from a certain source. Everything was made or everything came out of a certain source, which is energy.
Energy so far for me.
Okay.
Could be something else. I don't know.
Now let's just say. So are we saying that this energy, for some reason, it just started and it put itself into order?
Only if you're saying that's what God did.
No. Forget about God. We're not talking about God right now. Are you telling me? This
I don't know.
energy-
The answer is I don't know.
Okay. Because there's no way to go from there then.
Of course there's not.
Okay.
All we have to do is learn.
Yeah, but
as we find information, we learn.
But the question is, if because energy, when we say energy is conscious,
Don't know.
you
I've heard it is, and I accept the argument that the Earth, the solar system, that we're a biosphere as a collective has many consciousnesses, but it also is a collective consciousness, and it all relies
far from the camera.
and it all relies. Everything relies on everything else.
Yeah.
So the solar system relies on the galaxy relies on the universe, so on and so forth. So I believe this. Whether it's a consciousness like what we're experiencing, I don't know. I'd like to think that we're all the same consciousness. We've just forgotten that I've heard all that stuff. I've no way to substantiate it.
See, that
That's
stuff-
just romantic. It just sounds nice.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that stuff is not scientific.
Just like God,
Yeah.
sounds romantic. It sounds nice, but I have no evidence for it.
Yeah, but okay. Now, as a Muslim, I believe that God is neither a being nor is he close to a being. Any being. You can
Okay.
imagine whatever you imagine in your
Same
mind.
as energy so far. Then go on.
Alright, whatever you imagine in your mind is there. But however, God is living.
God is living,
Is living. Right?
living, not existing.
Living.
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 What
God-
does living mean?
living means like God is existing.
No, but what does living mean?
Living means existing.
Because to live and exist is two different things. A rock exists, doesn't live.
Okay. Living means you're conscious. You're able to
Okay.
make decisions.
Okay.
And do things. You're highly conscious.
This is what you believe, right?
So what I call God,
Yeah.
right, is a living being.
What you believe, right?
Conscious. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. If you
Well,
believe it, then you just believe it.
Now, but this living being that I'm talking about,
That you believe.
yeah, in Islam, he or it.
Thank you. I'm
right?
glad you said
yeah,
that.
because at the end of the day, the reason why we're saying he is because of, God
This
is
patriarchal
Yeah,
thing that
no,
you
no.
was dealing with
Yeah,
earlier.
something like that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It could be connected to that. But the reason why we say he also is because, like a father, he feeds us, he does.
But mothers give birth to us and nurture us,
Yeah, exactly.
which is more godly, I would say.
I don't know. But coming back to the point.
But anyway, yeah.
Coming back to the point, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is that, as a Muslim,
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to even make an imagery of God.
It's not allowed to make an image of God.
No.
Okay.
Because to do that itself is shirk. Which
Okay.
means it's you leave Islam if you do that. You're
Yeah.
not a Muslim.
Yeah.
Okay?
You don't know what the image of God looks like, though, do you?
Because whether you know it or not.
Yeah. Well, you
Because
can't.
obviously we
you
don't
can't,
know.
You can't. Well,
You
then
can't.
you could. It's impossible for you to do that anyway.
Exactly. So the idea that there's the white man behind the clouds with white beard trying to
I didn't say a white
maybe,
dude.
or maybe a black guy or maybe an Indian guy in the clouds trying to
Yeah.
Krishna and all these people.
Yeah.
Right. You see, this is like we're trying to carve God out of our own image.
Yes.
You
Exactly.
understand? And we are worshipping our own selves.
Yes.
It's just what we do that.
Yes.
But if we said, you know what, how about this? There is, like you said, there is something greater, right? Whether it's conscious
I'll accept that.
or great, but we come from that.
Okay.
And from that great consciousness
Yeah.
is whatever this is this thing that formed us out of this, that's that put everything into
So
order.
you sound like me now. You
Yeah,
sound like you don't know what it
because-
is.
No. Because as a Muslim,
Yeah.
the only thing that we can associate with this thing,
Yeah.
or this God, because I'm trying to use your language so you can understand. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk like this as a Muslim, but as your language, innit? Now, this being or this thing, this creator,
This entity. I don't know
entity,
what it is.
Let's call it entity. We don't know what it is because we can't explain it.
Right.
Right? What we know about it is like because of it, everything is in order. because of it, energy had to, come out and ask, we're here now.
Okay.
But because of it.
Okay.
We don't know how he used energy to form this, because like you said, we can't take or add something out of energy, We don't know how he did it, or it did it. But it is.
Yeah.
So what I'm telling you is like, okay, I believe in that. Which I don't, which
Yeah,
means,
you have no evidence, you have no idea, but you believe in it. That's fine.
yeah, and the reason why I believe in it is because the way life is set, and I explained this earlier last time as well, like it's something as simple as a bee has an effect on the planet. If we went extinct, even spiders. We think the spiders are not doing nothing, but without spiders, there will be a lot of parasites in the whole.
So we're in accordance
world.
so far with everything, and everything you've told me, I already know.
Yeah, so basically,
where do we go from there?
Everything being mathematically arranged. There's a reason why we are in the perfect spot for life. There's a reason why we exist in this. And you know something about the Quran is that for so long time it's been way ahead of science. I'll tell you this. Number one, before people knew about the effect of bees on this world, God spoke about it a long time ago.
You
Right?
believe.
Now, is it not Quran? Okay, let's put that. Let's put.
You said you don't know. I thought you said you didn't know what God was.
No. I said
Because
we can't explain God.
right. So
And
how?
we can't form it out of our own
So
image.
you don't know whether God can speak.
Can speak, but that's a nice one. But at the end of the day, speech is just vibration, and the whole entire universe vibrates.
Do you know whether God can speak?
Vibration is speech.
Do you know whether God can vibrate?
Everything vibrates in the universe.
No, but But God isn't the universe, though, is it?
No.
Oh well,
No.
according to you,
Everything is vibration.
I agree.
For
I
example-
accept
for example-
that we know of.
I'll give you an example. There was a time Solomon's army was marching. This is from the Quran, and
Yeah, another
and
fictitious
the ants,
character.
and the
fictitious
ant
character.
said, "Get out of the way before you get crushed by Solomon's army." Now, something that you need to understand here: the ants spoke, and we have it in English.
I've heard the stories.
What's it here? But I need you to.
You had a bird that was a general of the army.
Wait, forget that. But what I'm trying to say.
Is that true though?
But let me just. I'm going somewhere with this. Just
Yeah,
relax,
yeah.
So the ants spoke, and they said a word, but we understood it in a human vibration sound.
Yeah, I've heard the story.
But at that time, the ants did not speak in the human vibration sound.
Yeah.
They spoke in their own vibration code.
Yep.
And so
We just interpreted it.
It's interpreted by
Yeah,
whatever.
fine.
Now,
Yeah.
coming back to the main point, vibration. Because
Yeah.
they said, did God speak? What's it called? Our language.
Yeah, only because you said God told us.
Yeah. So
That's why I said that.
now, whatever vibration that God uses it could be formed into, like it could be, transferred to us through humanly vibration.
And then it's funny how we keep getting, depending on which human it is, we get different vibrations, we get different interpretations of what God's word is.
Yeah. But at the end of the day,
How incompetent is that God?
When you look at the whole world that believe in a God or
Yeah,
gods,
and how chaotic it is.
yeah, and God, what you need to understand is that they all have the main God, the one that they don't get rid of.
Who does?
Like every religion.
Okay.
Every religion that believe in a God or
Right.
gods, there's always the God above, the greater.
Okay.
Christianity, you got the Father. What's it called? Hinduism, you've got, I think, is it
Krishna or whoever.
no, not Krishna. Krishna is a demigod.
Shiva.
Yeah, Vishnu, I think.
Yeah, it
it
was
is.
none of those, yeah? Any religion, they've got the higher, the greater God.
Yep, let's say that.
Which is the internal.
Even in the pantheon, there's the heads of the pantheon. Yep.
Yeah.
No problem.
Now, there's a reason why that is. But coming back to the point, because I'm trying to explain this.
What's the reason?
Through your mentality now. The thing I was trying to explain to you is that,
Yeah.
you see, the way the world is set, right? So, it's God, or it's this entity that has formed it the way it is. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So hold on. So you just broke that down as the way the world is. Did you say formed or right? Or the way the world is.
The way the whole whatever we're in right now, whether it's
Okay.
the universe, the galaxies.
Okay.
You see the way everything.
The system of laws and all that kind of
everything
thing,
is in
yeah.
order.
Okay.
So we can't say energy automatically said, I think Earth should be right there. Oh yeah, the sun should be a bit further.
I agree. We
You know what I'm
can't say
saying?
that the same way we can't say our God said that either.
But there has to be.
I agree.
But there has to be an influence within the energy to cause that.
I agree. Let's say I accept that.
Yeah,
I
but-
just don't know what it is.
You don't know, but whatever that is that you don't know what it is,
Yeah.
is what we call God.
Fine.
And that's what we worship.
That's fine.
Is that
But
correct or wrong?
That's cool.
But is
But
it
how do you
correct
get
or-
to how
but
do you
is
get
that
from
idea
how do you
correct
get
or
from that to a book that tells me to do this and
Okay.
that?
No, that's okay. But first, let's agree to this. Let's agree with this.
No, I have. I've gone with you so far.
So you accept the fact that that thing or that
Yep.
that caused the energy to form the
Yes,
Sheba, whatever it
something
is.
caused the energy to do that. Let's
And
call
I
that
worship-
God.
And I worship that.
Yeah, but how do I get to the Quran with that?
Okay, that's a good question.
You're
Which
damn
I don't
right.
have-
It's
which
a
I don't have a lot of-
excellent question.
I know, which I don't have much knowledge of it. I could make mistakes by trying to answer this. But
I'm
I'll
glad you
try-
said that.
I'll try the best to my knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's humbled for you to say, man.
Yeah, of course. Like, cause then there are people who are watching me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kids, and I don't want to mislead them, right? But coming back to the point, yeah. But behind camera, I would lie to you all the time. I'm joking. But yeah,
It's just what you believe, based on it's what makes sense to you.
Yeah.
That's the way I would drop it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't even believe, but
Yeah.
I would just say it's something that just makes sense to you.
no.
and
There
you
has to be. Let me tell you something about myself. Yeah. If I'm gonna do something, or I'm gonna follow something, or believe in something, I have to have a reason.
yeah.
Because God says, think in the Quran, think, reason, thoughts, aql, all of that. So it's all to do with the mind and the heart. So I have to follow the rules. Now, why do we have the Quran? First of all, the Quran was never written as a book to begin with.
Spoken, yeah.
It was spoken and it was memorized. It was
Yeah.
only something that was in a memory. right?
Allegedly.
I wouldn't say allegedly.
Well, we have no proof.
We have a proof. I'll tell you how we have a proof.
Go on.
Because the Sahabas or the Prophet's companions,
Yeah.
because we pray 5 times a day.
Yeah.
And to pray
Which has
5
changed, because it used to be different
No.
amounts of time.
What's
used to
on
be
it?
like, did it used to be 50 or 20 or something
No, it's not.
originally?
It's not. I'll explain that to you in a bit. Let me explain this to you. There was so we pray 5 times a day. Each prayer, you can't pray a salah without knowing the Quran. So you have to know at least 5, 6, 7 surahs
Right.
to pray.
Right.
So you imagine you're praying this 5 times a day.
How does that prove that it was?
It was memorized.
Yeah, books are memorized.
So
no,
for
I'm
me-
not.
no, no,
I'm
so-
not arguing that books aren't memorized.
No, I'm
what
telling
I'm
you,
arguing is.
I'm telling the start. I'm telling you because this is a history why it was written down.
Okay.
Right. Now, for me to pray, I have to know the Quran, and for me
Of
to
course.
Quran, I have to memorize it.
Of
And that's
course.
why it was easy
Of
for the
course.
Muslim to memorize the Quran. We cannot. There's evidence. That's the evidence.
to memorize certain parts.
No, the whole Quran.
The whole Quran.
They
You,
were actually-
you memorized
they
the whole
were-
Quran.
I'm a Hafiz. I finished the Quran 2 times.
You memorized
Yeah.
it.
I was.
So you can recite the Quran
Yeah,
now all the
yeah.
way through.
Yeah.
You know most Muslims can't do that, right?
I wouldn't say most, but some Muslims.
I
can
would
do
say
that.
most Muslims.
I wouldn't say
just
most.
like how,
Maybe, I'm-
just
I'm-
like how
I'm
many
talking about the
Muslims
guys
can't
that
even speak Arabic. Most
But
Muslims
you
can't
don't have to
recite
speak
that.
Arabic to be a Muslim.
No, I know you don't. And you don't have to recite. You don't have to memorize the whole Quran to be Muslim.
At least you have to know some.
Yeah, of course.
But I memorized the Quran.
Of course, but that's exceptional.
Can you recite for us Surah Al-Fatiha?
Yeah. You want it? Right.
There you go.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان
Oh no, get it in
الرجيم.
English though.
بسم
'Cause
الله
otherwise there's no point.
الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. All grace is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. The most merciful, the most gracious.
Yeah.
Malik Yawm Ad-Din. King of the last day when the world ends.
Okay.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. It's you alone that we worship and you alone that we follow. اهدنا الصراط
you confirming
المستقيم.
this?
Yeah.
Do you even know?
I'm taking his word for it.
Oh, so
no, I'm telling you.
But go on. You might as well.
People would correct
Yeah,
me
yeah,
in the comments.
yeah.
You can read the comments
No,
later.
I believe it. I was gonna ask you something
Yeah.
different though, but go on.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Guide us to the straight path. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. To the path that you have okay. أنعمت عليهم, to the path that you've guided. عليهم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, to the path that you've guided for those that you were pleased with.
Yeah.
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, and keep us away from the path of those that cause your anger or that you're not happy with. That's
Good words so far, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? And like there's a lot in the Christian Bible that can be taken. That's great.
Yeah, but
Right?
alhamdulillah, you know, it's come from the family. But the point I
Yeah.
was trying to
But
make.
how do we get from that, from there being truths and there being good words in the Quran and the Bible? How do we get from that to it's the word of an entity we know nothing about?
Okay, Now, for us to prove, or for us to say, because right now we have come to a certain agreement that the it or the what that made the everything
that we know of.
Yeah, which is because it has to have conscience for it to decide.
Because for all we know, God's got a dad and a mom and a grandma. For all we know, for all we know.
Okay.
We don't know.
Okay. Let's not get it. Let's keep our level.
We have to.
Let's be at the level.
This is philosophy, by the way.
I know, but let's keep it at a normal level. Just stay with me for a bit, because I'm trying to have a direction for this. Yeah.
Okay.
So the it or the what that caused the energy that we.
Your direction is my conversion, right?
Now, whatever caused it, right? It has to be conscious for it to decide one day to cause this.
That I don't know.
But it has to be.
That I don't know.
Because for me to decide, right now I'm sitting here, right? And I want to do, I was there for a while, I was like, you know what, I'm going to walk away. That's the because I'm conscious that I was standing in one place for a long time and now I have to do another thing. You understand? Also,
no.
What do you mean? How?
No. I agree with, I've heard the Quran being read to say that we do not know and we can never know God or understand its intentions.
Yeah,
so I agree with that.
I know.
No, we don't know.
As a Muslim,
yeah,
we agree that God, right, is a conscious being.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but now what I'm trying to understand my train of thought. Yeah.
No, I understand I understand why you.
Yeah, but okay. This has to have consciousness. It has to, because there's no any other way out. Because for it to decide, because it's a decision being made. Because these are two separate things.
If that's what's happening.
Yeah, but these are two separate things.
If that's what's happening, I understand your train of thought.
But there's the what that's here, and there's the energy that's here, right? So the what decided to do. I'm like, okay, what? Okay, I'm gonna do this.
Maybe.
Okay, let's stick it to maybe, because that's close enough to yes now. Now in the Quran, this is where now we're gonna get a bit, because for us to confirm that the Quran comes from the what that we're talking about, yeah, we have to phrase it. It has to have the answers to creation, to why things are in order or not. Right? Because it says, I'm from what? I'm from God. I'm from the whatever that caused the energy to form. Yeah. All right, whatever that made the energy to form, tell us everything now, because there are knowledge that we want to know. Now, the Quran talks about, for example, it talks about, let's go to the galaxies, yeah? The Quran talks about planets. For example, it says that there are, it talks about heavens, right? There are 7 heavens, meaning spaces, right? And in each space there are countless of universes, right? So it says 7 heavens, and within those 7 heavens there are 7 earths like our earth. Parallel. Now we're talking about parallel worlds. Is a theory that we have today.
Parallel worlds.
Is a theory that we have. That's a theory. That's literally
parallel universes. Exactly.
It's not yet.
Exactly. And if it really was the word of something that knows everything, why wouldn't it just say it in a manner that was actually accurate? And precise.
Yeah, but that's accurate and precise.
Nope,
no?
It's not accurate and precise.
How is it not?
Like, for example, when he was talking about.
Now let's stick to this one right now. Why is the one what I said right now not precise?
Yes, you know the right time to leave. So boy. It's deep, but it's kind of not going it. Yes, bro.
No, it's going because you still
not really.
You choose to go.
Because no, do you know what it is? There's nowhere to go with it because.
No, wait, let's not digress. Come back to why do you think the verse I just quoted is not?
All right, I'll just say it straight then. There's things that we know about the universe, precisely in terms of atoms. We know things about the solar system and the galaxies and even the universe so far in intricate detail. The Quran never mentioned anything about these intricate details, and it was very vague in its explanation of these things.
It does.
Right?
It does.
No, it does what? It does vague, or it does mention intricacies and detail of
what? Give me an example. Of the sun, of the moon, of the rotation. How about
yeah, for example,
how about the galaxy? How the galaxies rotate? Should I bring it out?
How about what? About what?
The galaxies. Our galaxy.
Yeah.
What the Quran says about the galaxy? Should I bring it out?
How it rotates what?
How the sun rotates around, how the earth rotates around the sun, and everything, and also the sun itself.
And then the solar system goes around the galaxy, and then the galaxy goes around the universe.
You see now.
Show me where it says that.
I'll show you.
Or the makeup of atoms.
I'll show you to you. The atoms is there as well. Atoms.
The makeup of atoms.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Show me the makeup of atoms.
Now, Now, but before I get
Because
into
if it could do that, we would be able to use the Quran to create technology. But we can't.
okay,
Because it doesn't explain it.
okay, now
It doesn't explain it like a science book
but
explains.
it does not. Look, let me tell you something. See, Allah says in the Quran, yeah, that this writing, this revelation is
Yeah.
only but a reminder.
Okay.
It's to remind you or to make you or to build an idea in your mind
Yeah.
that there is such thing as this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even there's a hadith that says, use the Quran, right? Use the Quran as your, so use the world as your map.
Right.
So use the Quran as your map and the world as your territory.
Right.
Right. So by looking at the Quran, you can go around the world and do the research. But why does the Quran tell?
No, why does it need to tell you to go and do the research?
For example,
It should tell you.
Wait, one second. Another proof is that look, the Arabs they had no knowledge of science, or they were not civilized. However, as soon as the Quran was given to them, they had questions and they became one of the greatest empires in the world. You understand? So that tells you.
Well, it wasn't one empire. It wasn't really one empire.
One of the most famous scientists, right? Who first created the islands and all this stuff, right?
It's from Islam.
Yeah, he was a Muslim, and he was jailed for what he was doing, and he was a proper Muslim, and he followed the Quran.
Just like there were Christian ones who did the same thing, right? Like Galileo and Copernicus and that, right?
So the thing,
and do you know what they do? Do you know what they do?
Wait, the Quran,
they go outside of their religion.
Yeah.
To create these, to understand the world around them. They go outside. And then what happens is the religious authorities then start pulling them down and start to, the religious authorities aren't in agreement with what they're doing and what they're saying. And they end up persecuting them. That's my understanding.
Now,
show me any of these sites.
Now the thing is this. Let me make something clear to you. The Quran is only there. It's like a spark. Look, if you have one second, brother. If you have a gasoline and wood, and you've got a match, what do you need to start that fire to keep burning?
If you got gasoline, you got a match,
you put it on the wood,
and you got wood.
You put the gasoline on the wood.
Yep.
What do you need to start that fire?
A light.
Once you put on the light, what happens? The
combustion.
Flame, the flame goes on, right? Yeah. And you can use that fire for a few hours.
Is that your analogy to say that it set something in motion, gave you an idea, and then you got to find it out for yourself? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Well, that's a cop out. That's a cop out. That's like saying to a child, "Here's some pasta. Here's a cooker."
That's like saying to a child.
You work it out yourself.
That's like saying to a child, here's the pasta and here's the ingredient and there's the fire.
No, it's not giving you all the ingredients though.
Okay.
As it explained how the cooker works, it's done none of that.
Here it is. This is Surah 10:61, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, now it says, so it's explaining the words for you.
Yep.
Nucleus in Arabic means nawat, right? So the Quran says that God split the nucleus. This means that the atom is not the smallest particle.
Okay.
Quran 11 says, wherever you may be doing and whatever portion you may be reciting from the Quran and whatever deed you may be doing, we do witness.
Yeah, so one's not even part of the other part.
Wait, one sec, yeah.
One's talking about the atom and then one's talking about
one sec.
God's intentions.
That's a different thing. We've got to do something different.
Like, so Allah's saying that the atom is not the smallest part. Wait. That's not what I'm saying. What's the point in that if you're not going to explain what an atom is and what it does and what it's used for? And how it makes up
and here it is, look. Surely Allah wrongs not anyone, even so much as the weight of an atom. And if there be a good deed, and that's one of them. There's another
the
one.
Weight of an atom, atoms weigh different weights, don't they?
Yeah, but even
hold on. No, I don't think they do. Actually.
Even the weight of an atom. So this shows you that whatever this is,
it said even the weight of an atom. How's someone from 1,000 years ago going to even understand what the hell that's talking about?
For example, look, the Quran talk about the embryo and how the baby is formed.
I've heard that. What the gum thing?
No.
It doesn't explain it properly.
No, I'll show it to you right now. It's not the gum thing. You got it totally wrong.
Okay.
But the point of this, there are a lot of things in the Quran, right, in Arabic, that the people in the past did not understand it the way we understand it today.
Yes.
You understand? Because they thought maybe it was meant for something else. For example, when God talks about, the cow milk and how, the glands and every detail.
When who talks about that?
The Quran talks about the cows, their breasts.
No, the others.
Yeah,
Okay.
Whatever that is. I call them breasts.
Others, they are breasts, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, but it talks about the glands and how the milk is formed in the Quran. Right?
Really? And it talks about it exactly the way a science book does, a biology book does.
Well, let's see in it. You decide for yourself, okay?
No.
But first, let's go to the embryo, right? Let's go to the embryo.
Well, do one thing. There's no point in showing the loads of stuff.
You have to see this, man. One sec.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Show me the one too.
All right, here we go. Look,
Because there was something else I wanted to do as well, but it's getting late, man.
This is the last one, right? I'll show it to you something. Okay, here it is.
How much time is on it?
I've been recording for 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. How much time's left?
If I tell you,
If you tell me what?
if I tell you, are you going to still carry on?
No, I wanted to do, because I was supposed to speak to the Irish dude, didn't it? And I want.
He's gone.
Yeah, I know he's gone, but so he just says just do it by myself. I was just going to do a quick kind of a presentation, I suppose. Or
6 hours still on.
is it? Bloody hell! So got plenty of time
It's
then.
1 hour till...
As much as my body heat will allow me to think it. Yeah, I want to talk about these pygmies of England, man. That's what I want to talk about, and Ireland and Scotland and thing. And I want to talk about how the pixies, fairies, elves and dwarves are apparently real.
Okay.
Is it true about the story that 6,000 years ago, Turkish farmers went to the island? Is that true?
I don't know. That sounds like the Cheddar situation, where yeah, that sounds go on.
Now, scientifically speaking, you do agree that all life comes from stardust or Earth.
Yeah, that's what they say atoms are, right?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, because we need the bacteria, because the bacteria to come down to Earth to form whatever it is.
Okay.
You need the bacteria, so that soil, whatever. So you need soil for life. We're all made out of what?
Yeah, biochemical material.
Which is soil, dirt.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, it says, we created man from an extract of clay. Then we made him as a drop in a place of settlement, firmly fixed. Okay, like drop of sperm, firmly fixed in the womb. Okay.
That you're assuming that.
Well. Okay.
You're assuming that.
Okay. What's I say?
You're putting words into
let me
the
finish.
mouth.
Let me finish. Then we made the drop into an alaqa. You know what alaqa
Nope.
is? Alaqa is an embryo.
Right.
Okay. Because this is Arabic. You have to. Okay. It says leech, suspended thing, and blood clots.
Right, but
So,
this is stuff that humans already knew anyway.
Yeah, but what's I say? A blood clot. Obviously, no human knew.
Yep.
That when.
Yes, they did because of miscarriages.
No. We're talking about blood clots.
Yes.
So you're telling
When
me.
you know that from wombs and you know it from animals and miscarriages, you know when something is pregnant, you can see all the stages through human development for thousands of years. We've been able to tell from the stages of fetuses.
Is it? Okay, now let's.
Well, that's true, isn't it?
Okay, one second.
Yeah, you need to be a breeder to understand that stuff.
You have to be. All right. We have to be very technical with this. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that, okay, now as you can see, it says, look.
He's trying to prove to me that the Quran is
What are you preaching?
What am I preaching about? I'm preaching about Somalianism. You have to be a Somali to believe.
I'm not Somali.
You're not Somali.
I'm not.
No, that was earlier. He's just showing the science in the
There's a
Quran.
religion
There's no
called.
religion called Somali. What
No,
religion?
my religion, Somalianism. Somalia, I want to Somaliaize the whole world. You want to come join me? I'm joking. I'm Muslim. I'm a Muslim. I'm joking.
Yeah, that was it, really.
Well, basically, okay. Now let's speak about what you said. Basically,
I recorded earlier.
huh? Yeah. So the embryo thing, there was no knowledge that we know of, unless you bring it to me from a certain historical time before Christ, right? That explains how the embryo is formed.
Because
For example, as we know, once the sperm hits the embryo turns into something like a clot of blood, and then also slowly the baby forms, right?
Okay.
There are whole verses that explain the way the baby forms into all its stages.
Okay, so
all of it.
So can't we just get Islamic scientists to just say, not Islamic scientists, can't we just get scientists to say, do you know what, based on what's in that Quran?
Well, we do have science that actually say that.
based on what's in that Quran, can we get scientific experts to just accept and concur and agree?
Shall I show it to you right now? There's
What?
actually a famous scholar.
No,
who
no,
agreed to
not
that.
one or two. Why don't can't you go to a
Well, at the end
hospital
of the day,
and they say, you know
we're
what,
living-
that's like our
but you have
that's
to
like our
understand,
medical books.
Nelson, you have to understand, we're living in a world where Islam is vilified. So even whether you're a scientist or not,
Not
you
in
are,
Islamic countries, it's not.
well,
it's not everywhere.
Well, in Islamic countries,
Yeah.
we do have videos of scientists. Even in Arabia, do you know how many scientists that went to Islamic wars and became a Muslim?
Yeah.
Scientists,
Okay.
right? Just by seeing the explanation of the Quran, they had no any other argument, right? The Quran talks about the galaxy. You know the sun.
Yeah.
Before science knew about the Earth rotate, because the science used to say that the sun rotates around the Earth.
Yeah, but we knew that the Earth rotated around the sun before there was a Quran.
No. No.
What do you mean no?
No. Give me an error. Give me an
Give
error.
you an error?
Yeah? Give me an error where they believe that, or that was recorded that they believe that.
The Sumerian description. Oh, you don't like that? Mesopotamia.
Well, there isn't.
4000 BC.
There isn't.
What is it?
The only
let's
evidence.
Say, let's say
wait,
2000
wait,
BC.
The latest or the earliest evidence that we have about this, the solar system, is, however, the sun
Yeah.
rotating around the Earth, not the Earth rotating around the sun.
They predicted the amount of planets.
Even when the Quran said that actually the what's it called, the Earth rotates around the sun, the so-called scientists at that time, they were laughing at it. They were like, "What? This thing is bollocks," right? And then also there was a time in the European
What's
countries.
your date?
Yeah.
What's your date for that?
What do you mean?
What you're talking about now? What's your
Yeah,
date?
you were talking about like maybe let's say 1,000 years from now. 2,000, yeah, 1,000 years from now.
1,000 years ago.
1,000 years ago, before what time was Galileo's time again?
About 14, 15, maybe 1600s.
Yeah,
So you're saying
4,400.
So you're saying.
So even prior to Galileo, because
Okay.
prior to Galileo.
So
because Islam is
when you see
2,500 years old.
Okay, so when you see the Sumerian descriptions or diagrams where they've got a star in the middle and then the planets around circling them.
Oh come on, man.
I'm just saying.
But
I'm saying.
People, I'm telling you, people had an idea of the galaxy, but they didn't
Right.
know what rotates around what. But I'll tell you one thing. There's one thing that science haven't proven yet about the galaxy, and we shall wait, because right now what they believe is that the Earth rotates its own axis,
Okay.
and on the sun,
Okay.
and the sun also, has a fixed
Okay.
stand. What's it? They said that the sun
Yeah.
has a fixed stand, like
Okay.
it's not moving. However, you know what the Quran says? The Quran says that the sun is moving towards a direction. Right? Nothing is fixed. We don't know the speed of it, but everything you've got everything spiraling around the sun,
Okay.
like the planets I'm talking
Yeah.
about, and also the planet, the sun is moving in a certain direction.
Do you know what
It's
that's
not
called?
fixed. What?
It's called a precession of the equinox.
Was that? I don't know what that is.
Because show me that the Quran talks about a precession of the equinox. It talks
Obviously,
about.
I can't
it talks
give you in details, but
it talks
but
about
the fact
a
that
ga-
the
it sounds
fact-
like you're talking
the fact
about a
that-
galactic
Nah,
year,
the
so-
fact that you understood what I am saying,
Yeah.
whatever what you're about to say is a fact or not,
Right.
gives you the idea that you know.
No, but this was developed BC.
Oh, okay, go on. Tell
Precession
me
of the
about that.
equinox is
Tell me,
how
tell
you
me.
got the zodiacs and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, tell me about that. The zodiac. Do you even know the zodiacs?
Mayan calendar.
Yeah, but the zodiacs have nothing to do with the sun moving.
No,
and
the zodiacs
and everything rotating
The
around the
zodiacs
sun.
are how you measure time.
Oh, you're
Time
talking
was
about-
measured
you're talking
by the
about time.
Egyptians thousands of years ago, thousands of years before
time
the.
was measured at the time of Adam. Let's say that time is. You could just look at the sun.
There-
The sun was the sun was
There
the
is
time.
no time of Adam. You can't. There's no
I'm
date for that.
giving you an example. Time itself, the
Yeah.
invention of time.
Yeah.
The first time that time was mentioned was the use of the sun and shadows.
What was the date?
Bro, throughout, since humanity had, what's it called? Since humanity started being intelligent and being a science
what's the date?
civilization? Okay, we could say Mesopotamian. We could go back even more back. We could say the start of Egypt.
So are you saying
all civilizations
right?
starting from the number 1 BC? Let's go back to number 1 BC, right?
1 BC.
1 BC.
Modern
right?
history. Yeah, go
Yeah.
on.
Or we can go back to what's it called? How long as human beings lived.
Yeah,
But
what about
I'm
it?
talking about the moments that human beings start having consciousness, that they were able to decide what they want, and they were intelligent, like intelligent humans. Right?
Okay.
Time. It was the easiest, or one of the first things that they were able to, come up with was time, right? And the reason why that is, all they had to do is measure The sun, the shadows.
So they don't need the Quran then?
What do you mean?
If they can do these things
That's a common,
anyway,
no,
they don't need the Quran.
no, sometimes there are things the Quran only tells you about things.
How did they find out the earth was curved? How did they find out that the earth...
Who found out?
How did we find out as humans that the earth was curved?
When did we find out?
When did we find out? We found out when we worked out the precession of the equinox.
Because at the time,
okay,
at the
you told
time,
me then.
The reason why Galileo was killed because he said the earth is round.
No, he was killed because he says the earth... Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about the round shit.
No, he said the earth was round. That's what he was killed for. And this time people used to believe in a flat earth. Come on, man.
He was... my understanding of it is that he was saying that the earth went around the sun, orbited
And
the
please
sun.
don't tell me the Mayans believed in in the whole galactic system, the sun rotating around the earth rotating around the sun and the sun moving towards a certain direction because everything is a flow through the galaxy. Everything is moving and rotating.
Right.
You understand? So you don't have that in the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar only tells you how to use the sun as a means of time, to measure time through the sun, shadows. That's why even when you go to what do you call these big rocks?
It's to do with again. I keep going back to a precession of the equinox, where you work out galactic years.
It's not the same.
As what?
It's not the same as what we're talking about. We're talking about something more. It's like you're making this conversation more tiring right now because you're tired.
I'm kind of tired still because we're kind of not getting anywhere because
you don't want to get to somewhere.
No,
right?
I thought we already did. We got as far as what we could do.
I'm talking about a certain thing, but then your mind is fixed on something that's not even got to do with what I'm talking about.
My point is, you know what it is? I think you don't understand the things I'm talking about, and you're trying to make the Quran fit into what I'm talking about.
Since you tried to explain to me the acronym, use, for example, look, they'll tell you this is Venice. That star is that name.
Yeah.
When that star goes there, then that means this is gonna happen.
Okay.
To measure time. I understand that, but we're talking about.
That's not how they measured time. Or that's not how they measured galactic years. That's not
measure?
how they worked out. It was curves. The planet
They
was
never.
curved.
The furthest they got as human beings is that the Earth was round and we were under a dome. That's the furthest they got. There was no round Earth.
Well, it's not a dome.
But to me, right now, as a Muslim.
Hold on. So you're saying before Islam, there was no concept of a spherical planet?
No, there wasn't.
Well, then
There wasn't.
there's only one way to do this, then, isn't there?
Yeah. Maybe if you have.
Let's just Google it, man.
Okay, go on.
You know. I don't need to tell you.
Let's Google it, and then I want to have this quick thing with the camera. I'm going to do this other thing. Who came up with the first theory of a spherical planet? I should have put what time, actually, to be fair. What's this doing? Oh, that's on maps. That's how cold I am, though.
Trying to go back in time, no?
Yeah. I'll just go. This is a brand new phone as well, so I don't even know.
Samsung is my favorite.
A70, man.
That's Samsung, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which one is that? N10.
When was the first theory of a spherical planet?
According to American Physical Society,
500 BC,
around
Pythagoras.
500 BC.
And that ain't even the first either.
Proposed
Oh,
a spherical Earth,
yeah,
mainly on
Pythagoras.
aesthetic grounds rather than on any
proposed.
physical evidence.
And do you know who Pythagoras? Do you know?
Wait, we have to understand. All right. Now, this man.
Do you know who he was?
No. Wait, I know Pythagoras, the guy that invented the shapes and all that stuff. He was a geometric.
Wow.
He was the master of geometry. I know this guy.
Well, no.
He was the master of geometry, and this guy.
Well, no.
What?
He learned that stuff from somewhere else.
Yeah, but we know he did though. You had to go all over Egypt, there to get this information. It wasn't only one place.
That's what I'm trying to
And
say.
also
He got that from Africa.
Yeah, but
He went to school
this
in
idea.
Africa.
No, this idea that he's saying. Look, you have to understand the
Is it before the Quran?
Huh?
Is it before the Quran?
Is it before the Quran? Yes.
That's all I was saying.
But is it before the Torah? No.
Is that before the Torah? When did the Torah say that was the Torah doesn't say that the thing is spherical?
Yeah, but okay, we'll come back to that.
And it should do if it knows what
one sec. You see, by the way, Pythagoras
Yeah.
was not scientist. Right?
What was he?
He was a spiritual leader.
Pythagoras was a spiritual leader. Just have a look. I want to read.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, but I'm telling you. Let me tell you something about him. Yeah, this guy was a spiritual leader, and everything he did, he had a religious point of view behind it. Right now, as you can see here, it
I think
says.
you're talking like Newton and them, man, how they had religion as well as being scientists.
Yeah. So now what he says this, yeah, it says on a. How do you spell that? I know what it means, but how do you say it? Aesthetic ground rather than on a physical evidence. Do you know what aesthetic is?
Aesthetic, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like he wasn't saying that the earth was literally round, but he was showing it from a spiritual point of view.
It's first proposed a spherical earth mainly on aesthetic grounds rather than on any physical evidence. Okay.
Like many Greeks, he believed that the sphere was the most perfect shape. Because you know why? Because this guy, he studied sacred geometry. And for someone to study sacred geometry, because when you look at, because sacred geometry complements so much about, what's it called?
It has actually been known that the earth was round since the time of the Greeks, physically. I believe it was Pythagoras who first proposed.
No, but that's someone's answer, brother. It's not like you have to. Look, it says Star Child.
But it's this, yeah. It's this site. Do you want to go onto the site, or do you
it's people that ask questions. The question was who figured out, and then someone random answers that. So we don't know whether
the time of the ancient Greeks. See, me, to be fair, I think it's even before that.
It says Pythagoras.
Around 350 BC. The great Aristotle declared that the Earth was sphere based on observations he made, but to do with the constellations, which is what I was talking to you about earlier. Okay. If you look at the stars, you can tell that that we're going around. And that was my last point. That was it. That's all I wanted to make.
Okay.
We should continue. Next week.
Well, we have to, because I'm gonna get you.
Because then you can bring stuff and I can bring some stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'll be good. But the point I'm trying to make is this, yeah. What's it called? Aristotle, this guy.
Yeah.
He was one of, he was under the influence, or maybe he got the teachings of he got the teachings of Pythagoras, because Pythagoras was the man who was known to spread, sacred geometry on forms and shapes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Trying to mix.
Which, like you said, he got from other places before.
Yeah, and
so they knew this stuff from long time.
He tried to create a religion, actually. You know
right.
that? Yeah, he tried to create a religion, but then
he probably was religious. But what's that got to do with it?
Yeah,
I wasn't talking about. I never said to you there were people who were atheists that said the world was round. All I was saying to you was the Quran didn't come up with the theory of the earth being round, and you said it did.
No, my point was this, that there's no historical evidence that suggests that the earth is round and everything rotates in a certain manner. I was talking about the the solar system.
But that's they said the constellations.
Yeah.
That's how they determined that it was a sphere. That's how they determined that the planet was a ball of
okay, let's just say
based on the constellations. So it had to be the fact that they were. Plus, you have to, in order for them to be able to work out years and galactic years, they have to know these things. Like we don't give the ancients enough credit. We still don't even know how they built these pyramids. How they worked out a lot of the things that they worked out. We don't know. A lot of these concepts have been around for years. And then people come later, like the Christians and the Muslims, and they say, well, no, we came up with the things first. No, they didn't. This is why, to my understanding, the best things that the Bible and the Quran states is that read the books of the ancients, because they're the ones who understand reality. And I agree with that 100%. When the Bible and the Quran speak like that, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Teach us to learn from the past.
That's right,
but
because they knew shit.
I don't think the Bible teaches that.
Why did they know shit? Because God, to argue your point, God was around before the Quran.
Yeah. God was always there.
So why couldn't have God given this information earlier?
Also, there is a verse in the Quran that says that God sent so many messengers around the world. To every nation, God sent a messenger. Maybe even Pythagoras was a messenger to the people at his time.
Okay.
You never know, But
maybe.
Maybe. You never know.
Maybe.
But,
go on, make your last point then.
Yeah, my last point.
You can close out on it then.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're right.
The last point I was trying to make is that, you see, right now we all agree, everyone knows that the earth is rotating, everything is rotating, but there's one thing that's different from the Quran to the other people. The Quran says that the sun is always on the move. where science says the sun is fixed.
Right.
The sun is here and everything is rotating around it, right? But the Quran says no, the sun is not stationary, it's moving. Now, when scientists look at this, they'll be like, look at these bollocks, right? Just like many thousand years ago when Muslims said, what's it called, the earth rotates around the sun, and they said, no, the sun rotates around the earth, yeah? They were like, Muslims are crazy. Also, there was a time when the European world or the Western world believed that the honey itself was the disease of all, and the Quran said no, honey is the mother of all cure, right?
Okay.
There was a time when people were trying to figure out how babies are formed. The Quran said this is the details. Like, there is no scripture. My last point is that there is no scripture that I know of that gives you or gives us such details. Some people will tell you that Hinduism, but within the Vedas and these books, yeah, what they have is the word. What they say is the word of God here, and the commentator commentating on his own philosophy what this is. I've got a lot of books that talk about that, yeah.
Okay.
And to be honest, I can't say because all these pages that you see is just someone speaking in it saying but then it has nothing to do with this. You know what I'm saying? So my point, what I'm gonna end with this year, is that you are in a very good stage right now, whereby you're saying, okay, you know what? I do believe in something. There is energy, and we know there's a cause. Something caused it, right? But I think it's time for you to figure out, go to a journey, what caused it. I know it's hard, but at least get an idea. Look, Allah says, seek and you shall find.
Yep.
Right? If you truly want to know something,
many things say seek and they shall find.
Yeah.
That's probably a Greek
No, it's not.
philosophical term.
It's not a Greek philosophy. Well, how did the...
Do you know what? I don't know, but let me have a look.
Let's look at this. I don't think it's a Greek. Because look, Buddha says
Seek and they shall find is like some
but-
kind of obvious thing
but
to say.
Buddha says it.
Have a look and you will find something.
Yeah, but
that's what that is.
But look, Buddha says it, Jesus says it, Muhammad says it.
Well, then it's before the Quran, then, isn't it?
Yeah, but Buddha was...
That's what I was
way
saying.
old. Yeah, but I know. As the
Well,
Muslim...
it's only like 500 BC.
Yeah, I do agree, but...
Seek and they shall find was probably thousands of years BC.
Yeah, it was too old, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's just a normal thing. It's like practice what you preach and be the change you want to see.
Yeah,
and
but as
all
a
these
Muslim,
kind
I
of
believe
things.
God sent so many people to the world. You know?
Sent people to the world.
Yeah, a lot of people are basically messengers, because God cannot come down to earth.
No, God can do anything He wants to do.
He can't though. It's just
God can't do anything He wants to
like,
do.
I mean, He can do whatever He wants, but I'm just saying He can't come down to earth
He can't. So He can do whatever He wants, but He can't do that.
because He does not. For example, do you think the sun can come to earth?
Do I think the sun can come to earth?
Yeah.
I think that an all-powerful God.
what
I
happens
think
if-
that an all-powerful. Well, eventually it will come to earth.
If you can't handle the sight of the sun, how can you handle the sight of the Lord?
I didn't say I could handle it. I just said God can do anything He
That's what
wants
I
to.
said. God cannot
according
come
to you
earth,
guys.
because if He wants to, He can. But if He did, we would all die.
Oh, well, that's different to. It's not. It's different to not wanting to.
But anyways, you want to do your own thing. I don't want to mess you up, inshallah.
I think I'm bloody too cold to even do it now. I think I'm too cold to even do it. I don't even know whether I should leave it until next
Just
week
do it, just do it.
or whether I should just do this thing now because the guy's not even here
Anything
either.
can happen next week, you know.
Anything could happen, bloody hell. That don't sound good. That don't sound good.
I'm
I wanted
saying,
to do something on Christmas
But
next week. Man.
sometimes, you know, you're thinking tomorrow, but you don't. Tomorrow's not promised.
That's true. All right, that's true. In fact,
I'm trying to
what you,
motivate you.
yeah, you sticking around for it, yeah? All right, basically, I wanted to present some information because remember, have you ever seen that guy Bryden?
Bryden, no.
Yeah, he's that dude that talks about you black guys need to go back to Africa.
I've never seen him.
Okay, well he was there last week.
shit.
It was interesting. It was funny because this guy even asked, "Are there any black philosophers?" And I couldn't think on my feet of any black philosophers, but I ended up turning around and saying, some people say that Socrates was black. That's kind of I have no evidence for that. I don't know, but what I should have said at the time, in hindsight, was the fact that the Greek philosophers, the ones that he's talking about, that were responsible for European civilization, those people, they all went to go and study in Africa, in Egypt. Now this is on all the Wikipedia, on all the sites. If you do a bit of research, you'll find out. And he was basically trying to say that if it weren't for white people, as black people would be messed up, and the white people, this is what the guy was really saying, yeah?
Wow.
He says, you guys who don't want to go back to Africa, you're sellouts, and you need the white man, but the white man don't need you, black guy. And you know what? I thought he was kind of like one of those wind-up people who was just trying to make it to where...
The guy with the orange beard.
No.
Is it blonde beard? I don't know.
No. You'll have to watch it, man, and see what you're saying.
What's his name?
Bryden. I think his name was Bryden. So this is like dedicated to Bryden still.
Okay, Bryden. Are you watching this?
This is dedicated to Bryden. Then, so what I thought was, like many armies, when there's debates on a particular, or when there's a war on a situation, you would conquer, like what happened with Egypt when it were conquered by, was it the Hyksos or whatever? Yeah. Not only did they push them out and defeat them eventually, but they chased them further all the way back. Well, I think it was back to their land. Yeah. So I wanted to intellectually, academically, do that in terms of this Afrocentrism that seems to be going around at the moment, because there's a lot of, I think it's on Wikipedia, where the concept of the Egyptians being black is a conspiracy theory, right? The concept, even the thought of ancient Egyptians, Africans being black is kind of like a conspiracy theory. That's how I've seen it being termed. So what I wanted to do was take it away from Africa and actually take it back and drop some interesting stuff that I learned, which was not only were many great achievements done by black Africans, but also the people of, I mean, we know about the Moors and we know about the contributions that they gave to Europe and like we was talking about Galileo. All of a sudden it seems during the Renaissance that Europeans just all of a sudden came out with loads of knowledge and all of a sudden they enlightened the world and then we ended up with the society that we have now. When we know through any decent amount of research that information has been, each civilization has stood on the, or sat on the shoulders of other civilizations. It took the whole world of peoples to be able to create what we have today in terms of mobile phones, televisions, fridge freezers. It's everybody that's contributed to all this, but we don't give everybody the credit for being able to do this. Now, so
actually, there were a lot of black inventors in America who invented like the first telephone, like hand telephone was invented by a black guy. I've got, like, I don't want to say this on camera without saying names. I don't have the names now, but maybe next Sunday, if I'm not sure if I don't like the code, but if for some reason I come here, then I'm gonna bring all the names, all everything that we think a white man invented.
Traffic lights.
Everything.
Refrigeration machines, all them kind of things.
I'm gonna bring all the names, and these people can look into it. Black people actually contributed to the invention world. But remember, America is a white man's world. So, and the white man is always better than the black man. So whatever the black man does is not credited.
In theory, in theory.
I wouldn't say in theory, because at the end of the day, right now.
What you were saying, actuality.
It's in actuality.
You're saying the white man is actually better than the black man.
No. Basically, that's what they say.
In theory, that's the hype. That's the theory they put forward.
But basically, the fact that thought or that train of thought exists in these people is there. It's true.
Okay.
Because these people do think that way. Because when they're talking about black people, they try to come to in a sympathetic way. You know. Is it? Okay. Wow. See, that's what they do. But what you need to understand is that, like, it's time that African people and black people have put up their histories. For example, the idea of Egypt being the first civilization of Egypt not having nothing to do with black. History teaches this. All the history books. I'm gonna tell this to all the history books. I was reading this book on Netflix, on audio. What's it called? Audible. Right, I downloaded it. £6. It talks about the history of Africa in whole. And when it was talking about Egypt, it talks about the Nubian Egyptian times. It talks about the Cushitic Egyptian times. It talks about, the start of Egypt and where it started from, right? And the civilization and the tribes that were there. And how everything changed, right? The only time Egypt became white is during the Greek invasion, during the Roman invasion, and all this time the Coptic, Egyptians, all this times, Slowly, time passed, and now we have white Egyptians. Just like in Arabia, or in the Arab world, in the Middle East, people were as dark as me at some point, or maybe a bit brown, light brown than me, maybe, but they had dark hue, right? They had a dark hue, and for them to have this, even Rasulullah says from Muhammad gives a prophecy that one day there will be people from Persia, and by the way, anything if you go to what's it called, the Asian parts, North Asia, West Asia, the people are light skinned, right? Yeah. And Persia is part of I think Western Asia. Okay. I can be correct on that, but. Anyway, the Persians will come, who are in reality they are people of white skin. They would come and take over the Arab world and mix with them. What's it called? Genetically. That's the exact word used. Yeah. Genetically, right? Yeah. And that's why you have the more north you go to Arabia, the light skin they get. The southern you go, the darker they get.
Well, now, that's what I wanted to comment on. Because in general, that theory is kind of correct about the more north you go, the lighter they are, more, and the south you go, the dark.
If you go to Somalia, if you go south, people are really dark.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. What I found out. First I found something with the Hebrew Israelites. Yeah. Now, I don't agree with the philosophy or their understanding, because again, I don't believe in the literal sense of the Bible. Yeah. But there were certain things that they were saying, like King James being a black guy. That's silly. Right? That's silly, right? Silly. Don't make any sense, right?
I think such things are created so that people can dismiss any other claim that people of African descent make. Because they'll be like, these are the same people that said King James was black. These people are ridiculous. So,
so it's like double bluffing?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Then also, here's another outlandish weird claim. Yeah. Saint Patrick, from St. Patrick's Day, Irish, when he chased the snakes into the sea, it was actually black people that he was chasing into the sea, and these snakes are symbolic of being pygmy races. Now that sounds mad as well, right?
I don't know about that.
Now hold on. Well, it's the same situation, because to add to the craziness, those pygmy black people were referred to as pixies, fairies, dwarves, and elves. Yeah. So now the movies like the Lord of the Rings and shit like that. Yeah. They're based, I'm going to put it forward, that they're based on real people.
Oh, wow.
And Grimm's fairy tales, if you've ever heard of that, are based on real people.
What was the evidence for that, though? How do you know that?
So I was talking to the Irish guy. Yeah. Leon put me forward to him, because he's like I don't know if he's a nationalist or something, but he knows about Irish history. Yeah? So based on the information that I came in contact with, I thought, okay, let me have a discussion with this guy. Yeah. But for some reason, he's not here right now. So I thought I'd present it by myself. So here's what I'm going to show you. Yeah. So I came across with, and my hands are bloody shaking, so I can't even do it.
Tell me, I'll do it for you.
I came across information from scientific books. So because of the level of Afrocentrism, the fact that people are accusing black people of making up stuff and trying to say that everything is created by black, what I'm going to use is I'm only going to use European academic sources and materials. So what I'm going to end with is, remember how you said it was ridiculous for King James to be a black man? Yeah. I'll finish with that, with the evidence on that. I'll start with the background, which is how the explanation for Britain being... Okay. Now this is footprints of vanished races in Cornwall. And this is from 1900 to 1901. And
you want to wear my hat because you're a bit shaking and your hair's a bit like.
Am I shaking up bad like that?
Yeah. So ready.
Let me try and respect, man. Respect. Oh, you know what? That's nice, you know, Dan. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right. So this is about 30 pages, but I'm going to try and pick certain points. First it starts talking about the kind of animals that were in England and stuff, like hippopotamus and tigers and lions. Yeah. So it starts talking down in it, yeah. So they were talking about Paleolithic human beings. Okay. But later on it starts to talk about, here we go. Here we go. Okay, now this bit is interesting. Let me start from here. Okay, so it says, I would apply these conclusions to Cornwall, because what they were saying is that there was black populations of people in Cornwall, Scotland and Ireland, right? And Wales as well, because the Roman historian Tacitus, when he was talking about the Welsh, he was talking about dark-skinned, curly-haired people, and he said it was something to do with the fact that the proximity to Spain. So we were saying that these dark people came up through Spain and inhabited Wales, but also Scotland and Ireland as well. Okay. So this is saying that I would apply these conclusions to Cornwall.
So before you start, what book is that?
This is the journal of the Royal Institution of Cornwall. Yeah, so this is an official book. Okay. These are science books that are to do with the academics of Britain. So it's got anthropologists, historians, all that kind of stuff. So this is this is what I'm saying. Okay. So this is what I was trying to show the Irish guy. Yeah. This ain't black people writing this. This is from European, British scholars, commissioned by commissioned by who was it? The Prince of Wales. And this is in the time of, in fact, Queen Victoria's just died. So this is the kind of information that we're pushing around. This is some interesting information. So I would apply these conclusions to Cornwall. We have our legends of pixies, fairies and little people, as these stories are now understood in Europe to refer to a real race of prehistoric dwarfs. So I believe we may understand them with reference to Cornwall. I believe then that our pixies and fairies were genuine Cornish dwarves, belonging to a real race of diminutive human beings. As to the fairies, they had a similar origin. They were not the dethroned gods of the heathen Celts, nor were they the spirits of the unbaptized children, or of druids who had rejected Christianity, but they were originally dwarfs and pygmies, similar to the Pickneys, similar to the Piskies. So that's another word. I think that's where the word pixie came from Piskies. Yeah. This is also explain. This will also explain the tradition existing among the French peasantry that the fairies were mortal, and the stories that long ago they were actually killed in Wales. Cornwall then was, in the early days of the Neolithic age, inhabited by a race of pygmies like the Bushmen of South Africa, and whom, for convenience, I shall call the Pisky dwarfs. Then he starts talking about, okay, so the diminutive flint arrowheads found all over the Western Europe furnish another proof of the existence of these pygmies. These little arrowheads occur in France, some only half an inch, long being figured by M.D. Morlier or something. They have been found in the kitchen midden at Hastings. They abound in Ireland, and this Reverend Reginald Gatty has found in large numbers them in Yorkshire. They are also found in Germany and Poland as well. So
who are these people in origin? Are they African?
Well, if I get to the next part where he starts talking about, because in there he's talking about Britain made night attack. Oh, now this is interesting. Okay. The Akaz, a race of dwarfs in Central Africa, now use diminutive bows and arrows. So they're just talking about the type of technology that we're using. Now in a similar tradition, it says that these flint arrowheads were the darts shot at cattle during night by fairies, hence they were often known as elf arrows. So these are just kind of the things that these are the urban legends of like the Scottish, the Irish, the Cornish, talking about these little people. What we did is we took them and we dehumanized them and turned them into like fairy tales and characters, when really these are the Aboriginal, indigenous people to this country. And it's weird because, like I said, these guys like Bryden are trying to say, you guys need to go home to Africa. And I've often heard stories about how, like with the, the Grimaldi man, Black Grimaldi man who came from Africa, up the west coast of Africa, through Europe, did all the cave paintings and stuff, and then landed in Europe. Then you've got the Cheddar Man 6,000 years ago.
The Cheddar Man was dark skin.
Which is a dark-skinned guy with the blue eyes. Yeah. So then what they're trying to say is that 6,000 years ago, 6 to 10,000 years ago is when you started to see the white gene, right? And it was based on the cereals. Some
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Of what was formerly called Burma, now Myanmar, in the ethnocide, the ethnic cleansing of the Muslims, the Rohingya Muslims of Rakhine province in Myanmar. So far, so good. My only problem was this year, 2019, commemorates 30 years, a generation, since a similar incident occurred in West Africa, in the country called the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, the Jamhuriya Islamiyya al-Mauritania. And my concern in this matter